You go trumpet, Ricky. Will you shut the fuck up? Shut the fuck up!
Good morning, Sunnyvale! Breakfast, 700 hours sharp. Thank you. Have a safe and alcohol-free day.
I'm kind of glad you woke me up in your bugle trunket. So I got a 15-drink piss I'm about to flush out of my fucking body. You can keep me out of the park, but you can't keep my cock out.
Is that right?
Jesus fucking Christ! Why'd you get other men's cocks when they're trying to piss you? Mushroom teeth, whoreback! Oh my fuck the house! Fuck! Trim, don't look. Guy's cock got melted. It's in as far as it can go. It feels great. I can go about another inch. Perv, why is it 150 degrees in here?
Oh, I know. Isn't it nice, Julian? Come and do some hot yoga with us.
Sweat's good for the body, Julian. It makes fuck brandy. You gotta be fucking kidding me. What is wrong with your people? How bad is it underneath?
It's pretty fried.
Well, maybe if we just do it really quick, it won't hurt that bad.
It's got grill marks on it.
Listen, you gotta try this. It's been so long. I need it.
Okay, all right. Sure will.
Hey, breakfast, anyone? Bubbles, can you give us a minute here? Sorry, Ricky. Put your pants on. Look what I got. Pancakes from scratch, my own homemade maple syrup. Look at that bacon, fresh fruit, cereal, Lucky Charms, all separated out the way you like them without the clovers. Fuck, I love you, Puffs.
I'll take that.
Somebody's getting some shit going. You better be careful. I don't want my grandchild's head having dents in it. Ricky. Mark, Bridget! Ricky, punch him in the fucking face right now. Ricky, think about your grandchild. Think about your grandchild. Calm down. Fuck them. I can't wait to get enough money to get them a new job. I want to sue their fucking asses off. Their arms and fucking legs. Ricky, look, I'll deal with these fuckers. Wait here. Good morning, sir. Fucking good morning, sir, me. You not letting Ricky in the park? This is fucking bullshit. He just wants to live it.
Ricky doesn't know how to live in peace. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna let history repeat itself, especially when things are running so perfectly.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have signed a long-term fucking lease for Sunnyvale Plaza if I had known you weren't gonna let him in. He's my family.
Bubbles, look, there's a good thing going here. You're just gonna have to trust me.
Trust you? Oh, yeah? Maybe if I took the lease agreement down to a lawyer and showed it to him. Maybe I should do that, see if I should trust you.
Oh.
Get a lawyer involved.
You're good. Geez, I don't think they have a don't pay a cent event down at the law offices, do they?
Ah, very funny. It's fucking bullshit anyway. It's bullshit. It's not fair, and you know it.
Fair. You want to talk about fair? You try humping a crate of scotch and 2 wounded soldiers on your shoulders for 31 days up the Central Highlands of South Vietnam during the 65. And then have those 2 soldiers die on your head. Was that fair? Life is not fair, soldier!
Jesus, Murphy. Bubs, how was your sleep? I didn't sleep. Look, come here. What? Come here. I got something for you. Just keep it on the low, see? I can't believe you can fucking live here like this. What do you mean? I can't believe you spent all my goddamn money without talking to me first. I didn't spend all your money. Oh, really? Look, just calm down. I got a drink for you. You got a drink for me?
I got some rum. Get it out. Just 4, 3, 2, 1.
How the fuck did you do that?
He's like fucking clockwork. He's ex-SAS Special Ops. He's trained to sleep with his eyes open in case he has to fucking kill somebody. He's nuts.
This is actually pretty good. I mean, it's kind of like camping, but it's your home. Why don't we stay here for a few weeks, turn it into a family vacation? I think it'd be good for all of us.
In the next 3 weeks, going to the bathroom, having bird baths at Tim Hortons, you got another thing coming. It's not happening.
Look how it fucking is. Fuck you want, George? Here to sucker punch me again, you fucking pussy?
Ricky, I was out of line.
Oh, you're here to apologize, right? Well, that's good, but I'm not falling for that bullshit again.
Ricky, I'm not here to apologize. I'm here as an officer of the law to tell you that property.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Listen, Ricky, this is not a stable environment for a young lady about to have a baby. Trin, why don't you and your mother come stay at my place, just until you have the baby at least?
Fuck you, George. All the stable environment of my family by the end of the day. Let's go. Everybody in the car. You find your own fucking family. Fucking sucker punch throwing a dick licking stupidest dummy on planet. Fucking dum-dum. Fucking dick. Oh, don't fuck me around again today. Yeah.
Thought you might need a tow.
Yeah? Well, I thought you might need a... Fuck off! Fucking believe my trailer's been taken over.
Julian, I was trying to be like you. I was trying to make a nice...
Oh, you were trying to... Guess what? You fucked up. This isn't me, Bubs.
Oh, Julian, there's lots of space in my place here. You can live with me. That would be perfect.
Bubs, you don't understand. I can't fucking live here like this.
What do you mean? You can't live in the park at all?
Bubs, how the fuck did you let all this happen? Huh? This place is fucked. All right. Listen, I know you didn't mean to screw up, okay? I'm sorry. Maybe I'll stay over at Ricky's place until I can figure this out.
Yeah, if you could live right there, that would be okay.
All right, I got work to do. Do you want to come with me?
Yes, I'd like to do that, but will you be back by lunch? It's Mushroom Mount Monday. It's a big day.
I'll be back in a couple hours.
Oh, snap! We tried pantyhose, you know what I mean? But that didn't work neither. Party bus be back bouncing, but won't be till the end of the day, duh.
All right, we'll take my car. We'll have to make a few runs. Here. You coming?
Yes.
First snap.
Oh, Jesus. Right in the bird.
Hogan's Heroes.
Julian, word around the park is that you're not happy with the new Sunnyvale.
What are you talking about? I think it's fucking amazing. Can I have my glass back, please?
Of course. Listen, Julian, Barb and I have been talking. We know there's no way that you're going to be happy in the new park, so we're willing to make an offer to buy you out.
It's tempting, but Jim, I'm not going anywhere. I love the changes you guys made to this place. I mean, plus my shares, guys. You're crazy to fucking sell them. God damn it, look how fucking clean that is. Wow.
Yep, she's so clean. Clean like your mama's titties.
Thanks for all the hard work you're doing. You guys are doing a great job.
I can't believe it's changing. Treat yourself, Jim. This war is just getting started.
Couldn't you have found a cheaper place to store it than a motel?
Hey, it ain't a motel no mo. It's a still mo no. 5-0 don't even know, yeah.
What? Means it's a storage motel. Cops don't know about it. It's cheap.
Well, how much raw vodka we got left?
Hey, we couldn't keep Pizama granted on the shelves, huh? But Blueberry, we got lots of, you know.
All right, cool. We'll be able to flip that this afternoon.
Welcome to the Greasatorium, Julian.
Hey.
We in 27, yeah. Shot, yo.
How greasy is this place, Julian?
Fucking shit.
Grease Manor.
Tommy, it's me. Down the goddamn slingshot, man.
Hey, Jules, my brother, what's happening?
man?
Fuck, you look good, bro.
Thanks.
Nice ride.
Yeah, look, I know I used some storage money, but do you think I can just grab my shit and I'll get you back?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You fucking with me? I never tell when you're fucking with me.
Tom, I can flip this shit this afternoon. I'll pay you the whole thing by the end of the day.
Oh, man, I'd love to help you boys out, but, you know, come on, I'm running a business, you know?
I know I'm in hard times right now.
Fuck, Jules, everybody's going through hard times. That's why they leave their shit with me. Oh, come on. This is a business. You understand?
I understand, but it's me. Look, have I ever fucked you over?
No.
No, I haven't.
Just give me the keys to your car for collateral. That's all.
How the fuck am I supposed to sell liquor without a ride, cousin Larry?
Those work great.
I'm not gonna sell booze out of fucking ice cream bikes, Tommy. Come on. Junior, just hang on. That could fucking work. That could work. We could sell it at the park. That would
Work out great, man. I'll give you enough product to flip. You just pay me back at the end of the day. We're good.
All right.
That's the least I can do for a friend, pal.
Thanks, Tommy.
Yeah. Keys. Key.
Julian, check it out. An ice cream Fonzie.
His name is George.
Yeah, well, I just can't believe you're taking that fuckhead son.
That fuckhead who took care of us while you were in jail? Yeah, I am.
Well, I'm gonna be taking care of this family from now on, okay? I'm gonna ask my new boss for a little fucking advance and get a place for this family by tonight, I promise. Thanks for the hash.
You're just getting an ice cream for yourself and not thinking about anybody else?
Lucy, I don't have any money. It's not for me. It's a gesture for my new boss.
You know what, Ricky? George is right.
All right, here you go, man. Yeah, perfect. That'll do. I got nothing left, sweetie. Sorry, fellas. I got no ice cream for you.
Pass me a pint of liquor, bitch. Yeah.
Pint of liquor? I don't think you're a legal drinking age, are you?
Are you legal getting knocked the fuck out of age?
Murphy, how old are you?
How old are your mama's titties? Okay, that's just cold.
God, listen, I don't tell out.
Yo, Google that, bitch.
Murphy. Let's go, Bubs. How's it going? I only sold 2 bottles of liquor. Those 2 little fellas just verbally bitch slapped me.
Don't worry, yeah. I'll call for backup. Jay, that's right. Yeah. That's what's
Near the end of my police career, I was drinking a pint of liquor for breakfast, quart for lunch, and a 40 ounces for supper. That was a mess.
I feel you, Jim. I was the exact same. God knows how many people I killed when I was wasted.
Mr. Leahy, I tried to explain to Colonel Dancer that I cannot wear shirts on my body because I get a rash. I got a rash!
Under the new employees, wear the required uniform, no exceptions.
Mr. Leahy, you own the park. Tell him I can't.
I said, no exceptions, soldier.
I'm not a friggin' soldier, and you're not in the army anymore.
Disobeying a direct order from a superior officer is in violation of the rules. Now, you will go and de-weed a flower guard hole, and you will look out for graffiti vandals, and you will keep that goddamn fist on.
Can't believe you didn't stick up for me. Again!
You were saying, Jim.
Nice day.
He sends me flowers every week. He's done a miraculous job with Sunnyvale Villas.
Well, it doesn't mean you have to spread your legs for him.
Sarah, not in front of the customers. They don't care, do you? What do you even need a man for? Get us girls. We should stick together. I know I'm old-fashioned, but I just think that a woman of my age really, really ought to have a partner.
You're too young to be old-fashioned. And you're too old to be attached at the hip to some guy who's not even giving you what you need.
What about what Bert needs?
Ooh, well, there's trouble. How are you? Going right this way, pal.
Sarah, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, what's up?
It's about Gladys. She wants me to do some extra stuff because Donna's doing it. She wants me to do it. How you feeling?
Look, you're gonna make us an extra $60, T, and you're gonna make her really happy. But don't be a pussy. You might even like it.
Yo,
He's actually alright, you know what I mean?
Great. Fucking great. Get the fuck back in the vehicle. Fuck off. Just give me a second. This thing's melting. Hi, you must be Sharon. I'm Ricky, the guy from jail that's singing the letter over the world pipe down on the TVs with the click clackers.
Email?
Well, if it said Ricky on, I guess it was me, right? Anyway, I hope you like vanilla. It's a little melty, but it tastes fucking great.
Jesus, what the hell do you think you're doing, Ricky?
Do you mind? I'm trying to talk to my boss. Don't see me come down to your job batting the cocks out of your mouth, do you?
Oh, that's real funny. It's a great set of wheels you got there.
Yeah, the new German technology.
Well, I got a flatbed on the way. I'm impounding this piece of shit. It's not safe for the road.
I can't fucking do that. I need it for work, for deliveries. It's the only chance I have to get a fucking home for my family.
Yeah, well, I was talking to George, and he said I can drop your family off at his place.
Oh, my fuck. This is just a fucking setup, isn't it? Well, you can tell George Green that he can suck my fucking cock, and you two dick wipes can hold the fucking shaft while he's sucking it. How about that?
Position no longer available.
Who's sucking it now, Rick?
Sucking these. Well, this is fucking great. Now I'm laid off, and I can't get pokey, so I got no money to get a place for my family to fucking live. You know whose fault it is? Bootsy McFitchtits, George fucking Green. Sends the cock twins here to fuck me. Honey, what the fuck are you doing? That's a new bumper.
Blow me, Ricky.
Well, I'll fucking blow you, stupid toe dick. Well, that's just fucking awesome. Lucy, please don't fucking leave me. Let me sort this bullshit out. I've changed. I promise you I'm never gonna break the law again.
I don't want to be a homeless grandmother, Ricky.
Lucy, please. We didn't even get a chance to bang yet. I need to.
Step away from the car, Ricky. You're fucking lucky I don't charge you with assaulting a police officer.
For what? Throwing flowers at two dicks? Fuck off. Is there any way I can get my money for today? What the fuck's your problem? I showed up. Oh, fuck. Let's go, Jacob. Giddy the fuck up. Man, I wish Corey was here. Go get him, dumbass.
Oh, hell no. Julian, peep your whip, dog. Oh,
Fuck,
hell
you kidding
no.
me?
Hell no.
Tommy!
What's going on?
Tommy, what the fuck? Hey, Julian!
Hey, man. I was at the mall. I got back. Your fucking car was stripped, bro. That's a shame. Tough neighborhood. Is it? You're the only one who lives here, bitch, over troubled water. Explain that, man. I'm gonna fuck this. Dandelion styles. They won't see what's up. Julian, man, don't make me call the cops on you.
I'm gonna call the cops on me, you little fuck!
Well, what, you got a lawyer? My money or a lawyer?
You know what? Here's your fucking money, all right?
Yeah.
Give me the fucking key! What do you mean I'm short?
You're short, man. There's not enough there to cover the fucking late fees on your storage unit. Never mind your bike rentals.
Bike rentals? Are you fucking kidding me, Tommy?
Oh, I'm running a business, bro. This isn't no favor factory. But hey, because we're friends, I'm gonna take a couple bucks off your parking fee for today, but get it out of here by tomorrow, because someone might want to park here, okay?
Julian!
You stay the
Yeah,
fuck
come
out.
on, bring it on, you little fucking weasel! Bring it!
Bro, put that down. Somebody's gonna lose an arm. You want your liquor? Pay me, bitch.
Yeah? I'm coming fucking jail, you little slimy fuck!
Can't wait to see you, handsome.
Yeah?
Oh, you greasy son of a whore. Fucker. Greasy bastard. Oh, fuck you!
Thanks for helping me out, man.
Hey, dude, no problem. You call anytime I'm there.
Almost there, boys. This is where we're trunking down for the night. Ow, my sunburn, dude. Sometimes when the old man got super banged up, I couldn't take it, so I'd run away for a few days and come and chill out here.
Yeah, man.
Holy fuck, it hasn't changed a bit. Look at this place, it's fucking perfect.
Where are we gonna use the bathroom? Where are we gonna sleep?
Well, there's a hose out back, and if you and Jacob want the couch, you can have it. Or we could all make beds out of hay like the fucking Vikings used to do.
Dad, I think maybe I should go stay with Mom, just until the baby's here.
If you want to go stay with George, I understand. I just thought maybe we could, you know, kind of come here and live the way people used to. Like, 100 billion years ago, they didn't have fucking houses or cars or anything. This is the way they did it. They fucking lived in barns.
How long would we be here for?
Just for tonight, I promise. A week or two tops.
What do you think?
I don't. We should probably just listen to your dad. I love you so much. Thanks for me.
I think we've won a very successful campaign, Colonel. Smell of victory is in the air.
Oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Jim.
You want to know something funny?
Yeah.
Randy, and where's his shirt? So, well, maybe we could cut him a little slack.
Everyone has to follow the rules, Jim. No exceptions. That's how wars are won. Some people suffer. That man is weak and a disgrace to his uniform. To hell with that fella.
Appreciate you sticking up for him. Orders from you, Colonel Sandals.
What's that smell in the air now, Jim?
See, Trent? This isn't too bad, huh? George thought I couldn't find you a stable environment. Fucking him.
You're gonna be the best grandfather ever. I love you.
Holy fuck, check it out. Look at a cute little puppy.
That's not a puppy, Dad.
What is it, a horn dog?
No, it's a goat.
All right, on. I heard of those fucking things. Woolly goats. Check it out, little buddy. I got something for you. Hey, Corey.
Huh?
Wake up, dude. It's getting late. You should get back to the trailer park.
Well, it's dark. How am I supposed to...
The fucking stars?
The stars don't move, dude.
No shit. That's why you fucking follow them. Even he knows that.
Yeah. Well, see you, Jacob. Have fun with your family. See you whenever.
All right, cool, man. There you go, little fella. Check it out. Here, what are you just calling here? Sleep here for the night. I'm gonna name you Willie. You're like a double unicorn. What's that? I can't understand you. What'd you say? What? Oh, you want a drink? You want to smoke a joint? I got hash and weed. What do you want? What? You want both? Okay. Let's get fucked up.
Hi. I'm retired police officer Jim Leahy.
And I'm Barbara Leahy. Take time to stop and smell the flowers.
At Sunnyvale Villas Retirement Community.
If you're over the age of 55 and are looking for a relaxed style,
Without the worries of criminal activity, alcohol, and drugs.
come make Sunnyvale Villas your semi-inclusive retirement paradise.
Enjoy 3.5-star dining with Master Chef Bubbles.
As well as numerous activities to keep you active and alive, such as hayride bingo.
Bowling, yoga,
And then on White Fingers Day Spa, let our certified staff work out all your tight spots after a long day of fun.
Our grounds are patrolled by retired SAS officer and highly decorated war hero, Colonel Leslie Dancer.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So come settle in at the end of the Silver Rainbow.
Join us at Sunnyvale Villas Retirement Community. Old people. Wow.
Oh.
I'd say we did pretty damn good, Barb.
Oh, do you think? I thought I looked just a little bit heavy.
You kidding? You look as beautiful as the first day I ever laid eyes on you.
Sorry. Am I interrupting something?
Randy, do you not know how to knock?
What do you want, Rand?
I moved yoga class up. Your little AA colonel buddy has... He and Julian are being released in a few hours.
Oh, great idea. Well, actually, we are all ready to go.
Sorry, it's been a while since I've seen Little Brad.
Little Brad?
Yeah, Little Brad. The river runs through it. 7 years in Tibet. Legends of the Fall. Troy.
Oh my God, you named your penis after Brad Pitt?
You didn't name it, I did.
Randy, it's enough.
This conversation is revolting, and it's over. I'm going to yoga, and you four can work it out.
You look ridiculous, Randy. I'm going to yoga. Go degrease yourself.
He's not friggin' yours anymore. This time in jail was my best spent of time ever. I took some really fucked up courses. I took a song course, which I wasn't great at. The machine kept biting my fingers, but I took this other course, and when you're baked, I was really fucking good at that. You take flowers of different colors and styles, and you put them in these thinly glassy buckets. And yeah, I got a fucking job waiting for me to get out of here.
Yo, Ricky.
Hey, DC, what's up, man?
Need some shit before you bust, nigga.
You sure you can't take any more?
Girls say they take some.
And the other thing I realized in jail this time was that my family and my unborn grandchild are way more important than killing Leahy and George Green and end up back in here forever. So I'm gonna do what the old man used to always say. Let guy bonds be guy bonds. Because once you're bonded, nobody gets hurt. That way I can get Leahy and George out of this fucking thing and not want to kill them.
I never felt so good getting out of jail. You know, healthy body, healthy mind, no stress.
That's the pathway to success.
Reverse psychology. Because the last thing on earth I want to do is get revenge on Jim for fucking me over. See? Reverse psychology, it's great, I love it. I also realized that by reacting to Leahy, I'm just feeding him. You know, and that's what gives him his power. So all I gotta do is stop feeding him meat and just concentrate on investing that little nest egg I got waiting for me. You know, I heard there's been a lot of changes going on in Sunnyvale since I've been in here, and good, it's exciting. Just can't wait to be part of it all again. Get the fuck out of here. Can't wait.
A lot of changes been going down since Jules went away, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, though. I got T-Zaxi keeping me busy. You need a taxi? Just ask me. And them old hoes, they be loving they driving Miss Daisy. I've been working part-time with Sarah at Mystic Fingers, doing my thing, you know what I'm saying? I just hope Jules is down with this new setup.
Things have changed quite a bit around here, but I think it's awesome. I've been going full tilt. I opened up my own strip mall, Sunnyvale Plaza. I've been doing hayride bingo. I got a bowling lane over there. We've been having lawn darts. The seniors are whipping around. It's been really fantastic. I opened up this place right here, Tacos Takeout, in memory of poor little Taco. I'm stopping Ricky's thing there. Oh my fuck, you got all the meals for the seniors there. And I mean, once the park fills up with people, this is going to be a fucking gold mine. Julian's going to be very proud of me.
What's up? I just got a regular.
I want everyone to step out of the car, please. Arms out.
Oh, man, are you serious?
This will only take a few seconds. You're good. Arms out, man.
Yo, is this really necessary, man?
Unfortunately, yes, it is necessary. Because someone tried to smuggle in a bottle of cooking sherry last week. Now, was that a good idea?
I don't know, Colonel Miyagi. Was it?
Alcohol is the true killer's son. Now pop the trunk. Thank you for your cooperation. And I hope you have yourselves a very lovely day. Your attention, please. For your safety, a 2100-hour curfew has been implemented. Thank you from all of us at Sunnyvale Village. Stay safe, stay sober. I'm Colonel Leslie Dancer.
I got fucked over by eons. They do this thing where they're like, yeah, come on in and get all the shit you want. You don't pay a cent for fucking eons. That's what they tell you, but I ended up buying all kinds of things I normally wouldn't spend the money on. I mean, that thing was expensive.
big fancy lamps and, you know, I got all kinds of shit. Futuristic backsplash, modern contemporary, they call all that shit. And, you know, it's still pay Santa Fe. The next thing you know, 6 months goes by and all of a sudden it's the, okay, now pay every fucking cent all at once event. That's what it turns into. You know, and it kind of fucks you. It's all bullshit if you ask me. Just hang on, Marguerite. I'll be right there. Jesus Christ, I know you're supposed to respect your elders, but some of them are fucking crazy. There was another samsquanch sighting last night, so you're gonna have to stay indoors again. I'll put on that video you love, though. Here, look. Look, the birds and the squirrels. Jesus Christ. Jesus, I'm sorry about that, Marguerite. It won't happen again.
Oh, bullshit, it won't. And how many times do I have to ask you for crispy fucking bacon in the morning? I'm not paying for floppy bacon and no detergent.
Jesus, Murphy, I'm sorry. I'll get you an extra slice of rhubarb pie tonight for supper.
Hey, Bubbles. Huh? I said we late, man. Huh? I said we late.
Loud music and bad language is forbidden in this park.
Hold on, Mr. Belvedere. I can't really hear you, bitch. That better now? Oh, that's how we gonna do it? It's going down? What you doing, bitch? Can't go on my bus. Oh, my fuck, you did not just do that, motherfucker. Let me tell you something. I ain't give a fuck how many Hulk Hogans you took down, you know what I'm saying? That's bitch slaps about the board. Knock your lights out, you know what I'm saying? You slut.
Calm down.
Wait till my business partner finds out what the fuck you did, dog. Julian ain't gonna be happy about this. Then we'll see what's up, won't we? Then we'll see what's up, won't we? Blah.
Just get on the bus.
I look forward to meeting him.
Thank fuck.
Cops and the guards bought a ton of hash off me this time when I was in jail, and they're fucking great customers because they pay full price, because they're fucking dumb. And I think it's great for the town because now that they're buying hash off me, they're roaming around with a little hash buzz on, doing their stupid little patrols, and since they started smoking hash, police brutality, way fucking down. How's my little grandson? Hey, little buddy. Grampy's back, and he's got hash money. Check that shit out.
Oh my god, you just kicked.
Nice. Where's Orangey? Oh, man, he's with Bubbles. Oh, you see what nice job Bubbles did setting up the baby's room? Looks great.
It's amazing. You have to see it. Let's go.
All right, let's stop at the second-hand store first. I want to pick up some stuff to sit on. Stuff to light stuff up at night, stuff to eat off. Can I pick up Corey? You can help load. No, we can't pick up fucking Corey. I told you, it's fucking Corey.
Well, you know, family time is important. See, Trinity hasn't seen her dad in a while, and Jacob's kind of part of the family, so, you know, I haven't seen him around lately. But I get it, I do. It's just, you know, I miss him. But that's cool. And I get to spend time together as a family, and I get to spend time stacking these pins. Doesn't bother me at all.
Fuck out of the way, Corey.
Hey, Donna, look what I brought you. You want to go to the bedroom, get some dirty stuff going? Oh, no, I don't want to go to the bedroom, you husky manatee. Get that sweaty dill pickle away from me.
I remember when the sweaty dill pickle used to turn you on.
I don't. You're disgusting, Randy. Well, you're calling me disgusting. Well, at least I don't have stink finger from massaging seniors all day. You hoarder. You can call me a whore, but don't you dare call me a hoarder. Now go take a shot. James Gandolfini there. Wash under his turtleneck. Hey, watch that stuff. That's organized.
Things haven't been going too good with Donna and I. She wanted me to get a haircut, so I got this bitchin' mohawk. I think it makes me look slimmer. She doesn't like it.
How's it going, buddy? Hey, J-Rod.
What's up, man? Good to see you, homie.
Nice fucking ride, man. What's up, pal? Good to see you guys.
Fucking good to see you, June. How was jail?
I was all right, man. But why'd you guys stop coming to visit me?
You know what's like, man.
Just got busy, really
Get
busy.
ready for you to get out.
All right, that's cool. Listen, I got big plans for our money, so let's go back to my bar, get drunk, and fucking talk about it. What's wrong?
Nothing. Nothing.
Just what?
Hey, can I be straight with you right quick?
Please.
It's like we still got a nest, you know what I mean? But it's like there ain't no egg up in there.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Money's gone, bitch.
Oh, just how? The money's not gone.
It's not gone.
The egg's just not in
Right.
the nest. It's scrambled and spread out.
You know what I'm saying? Like an
Amongst
omelet.
different
It's like an
things.
omelet, financial
It's like
omelet.
an omelet, financial omelet. We just reinvested it, Julian, but we got all kinds of assets now. We got a Like a
Wait till you see it, dog.
strip mall. It's, you know, we got a spa, we got fucking 5-star takeout restaurant with Chef Bubbles.
And who has one drink and one thumb and owns part of this party bus? You, huh?
You spent my fucking money on this piece of shit?
Correction, dog. I spent our money on this piece of shit. Say it.
You gotta be fucking
Julian,
kidding me.
come on, dog. We had to do something when Barb closed your bar down.
Barb closed my bar down?
That's right.
What the fuck what are you guys talking about?
Now what's up?
Mr. Lady and Barb changed, Sonny, a retirement community for old people. So your bar's like a spa now. But Julian, trust me, you're gonna be fucking blown away. It is desope, isn't it, J-Rock?
I can't disagree. That's the Trezoof.
Let's just get the fuck out of here, please.
All right.
Don't be mad, Julian. Come here, let's get you out. Puffs, stop it. I said stop it. I said, well, I'm not in the fucking mood. Stop it. I was kind of smiling. You turned my bar into a fucking spa. I didn't turn J-Walk, let's get the fuck going.
I'm trying you, man. I think I flooded it.
Nice fucking bus.
I got CAA, bitch. Hang on.
You don't gotta yell.
5 free toes in the first year. Blah!
You should probably stay in the car, Dad.
Fucking Dexter, taking care of you guys.
That would be nice.
Ricky? Rick? We gotta fucking go. We gotta go. We gotta go right now.
What the fuck is going on?
You lied me 2 hours ago. Now just move out.
Look, George, I want to burn the hatchet at both ends. And I want to thank you for looking after my family when I was in jail. It's pretty big of you, bud.
Jesus Christ. Go ahead, hit me. I'm gonna beat those little nipple tits right up to your fucking face.
I can't, because my grandson's more important.
Go away, Rick.
Take care of yourself, Georgie.
Fuck off.
Oh my God.
No, you're all right. Okay. Okay.
Drunk list?
I had a couple. Okay.
We're a family again. I can't wait to bang you, Lucy.
Dad.
What the fuck is up with this shit?
Gate? I told you.
Nice skate. Thank you.
You must be Julian.
So, Julian, as a minority shareholder in the park, you're welcome to come in, but you're gonna have to abide by the new rules.
Rule number 1. No alcohol permitted in this park.
Did I not mention that?
So, Julian, I'll have a word with the colonel. Maybe we can make an exception for you.
Can I go home now? Play by the rules, and we'll get along just fine.
It's great to see you, Jim.
Run along, Randy. If we want something to eat, we'll call you. I thought you told me there was no way that he would give up his drink. I'm as surprised as you are. Don't even think about it, soldier. Let's put up the full gate.
Fuck up, Clarence. Over to lose it, sweetheart. What do you think, Julian? This is the future right here.
Why the fuck is my trailer pink?
It's pretty impressive, huh? Can you believe this place used to be your shitty bar? Come see. Come on.
That went pretty well, I think.
Same time tomorrow, Mrs. Henderson?
Miss Johnson? Holla.
T-Man, tell me you're not part of this bullshit.
Man, a hustler's gotta do what a hustler's gotta do. Grind and helping the elderly.
Julian, he's amazing with his fingers. You should be proud of him.
Should I be proud of you for changing my bar and fucking it up? It's pink.
Julian, after all the blood, sweat, and tears that we put into this place, I am really upset.
You know what? They made the park dry. We couldn't serve booze in here anymore. What the fuck did you want us to do?
How about come to jail and fucking visit me and tell me you're gonna change all this shit before you fucking change it? What the fuck? You kidding me? Thanks, T.
That has totally fucked my chakra.
What the fuck?
Well, well, well. You must be Richard.
Ding, ding, ding. I don't want any trouble. I just want to go home with my family.
I'm sorry, sir, but you are no longer welcome in this park.
What the fuck are you talking about? Says who?
Says the man who hired me to do this job. Now I advise you to back this vehicle up before I back it up for you.
Is that right? I advise you to suck my cock before I suck my cock for you.
Ricky, Leahy, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
This is a decorated war hero, Colonel Leslie Dancer. The prop. It looks to me like he's doing a damn fine job.
I'm using everything in me to stay calm right now. I just want to go home, and I'm gonna do something really fucking unsmart here.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Yeah? You got it, Colonel Octopus Cock. What think of that?
You blow her good, man. Listen, man, this is what these guys want you to fucking do. You gotta use your head or we're gonna fucking lose here, all right? Come on, man. Use your head. Ricky, you fucked your tires.
Your family's welcome in the park, Richard. It's only you that's not.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. You can't break up our family. This isn't fucking over, I can tell you that. Bubbles, you go get an orangey, man. Apparently me and my family have to find a new fucking place to live.
Yes, I can.
Great.
Just put it in neutral, bud.
Take it, get the fuck over here. Give me a hand. Is your fucking foot on the brake? Fuck's sakes. Oh, fuck, this is happening.
Ricky, I'm so sorry that things didn't work out for you the way you hoped.
You know what? I couldn't be happier. I'm out of jail, got my family back, getting drunk and high as fuck, and...
Yeah, me too.
And where a fella can get a drink, bud?
Hey, yeah, I got to share them, man. Hey, fuck. Oh, did you bring orangey?
Yeah, I brought him, Ricky. I got Orange here, but he's not as active as he used to be.
That's fucking cool. He made a little model of him.
No, that's Orangey, Ricky. That's him right there.
What the fuck are you talking about, Buzz? He can't live like this.
Ricky.
No kidding. I mean, what kind of a living is it? Glued to a fucking license plate, going around. Ooh, I'm on a fucking license plate. It's no life.
Ricky. I mean, Orangey. He passed on. He's moved on to the land of the deadies.
What the fuck are you talking about?
He died, Ricky. Wait, Ricky. Ricky, come here. Ricky, take a deep breath. Ricky. Maybe dead wasn't the right word. I meant, you know, he's still here, Ricky. He's still here. He still exists in the space-time continuum. The way it works is like when he ceased to be, he actually turned into a different type of energy, space-time continuum. And the way the universe up there, the black holes and everything, they wrap around. There's string theory that can prove that different things, and he can live here in the space-time continuum. I mean, that's how the holes in thermodynamics can fold over time, space, like that. So he's actually still existing.
Okay. Man, you scared the fuck out of me. I thought he was gone. So he's okay. Thank God. Here's to you, little buddy. To Orangey.
Well, he's not. He's... Yeah, Orangey.
Glad you're okay. You want a drink, little buddy? Yeah, man. No, Orangey. How does that taste, huh? You want some bottle tokes? Shooters? This is gonna be a fucking late one tonight, boys. What? Drink. Just one more for Orangey.
about his impending grand announcement. He confided in his young friends that he desperately needed an incredibly impressive concept to present to the community, something that would instantly restore his tarnished reputation and prove his worth. The trio engaged in a chaotic and wildly creative brainstorming session. They discarded several absurd and illogical ideas, ranging from faking his own demise to announcing a completely unrealistic political campaign. Richard emphasized that the announcement needed to be centered around a physical object of immense scale and emotional significance. He wanted something that would command immediate attention and awe. After a series of bizarre suggestions, the conversation finally coalesced around the idea of presenting a live animal as a grand, romantic gesture. They collectively decided that acquiring a majestic horse to serve as a symbolic gift for Susan would be the ultimate expression of devotion. The concept of an engagement horse seemed entirely logical to them, a brilliant strategy to elevate a simple marriage proposal into a legendary community event. The excitement of this new plan energized Richard, pushing the bitter memory of his agricultural failure to the back of his mind. He dispatched Corey and Jacob to secure the majestic animal, instructing them to maintain absolute secrecy. The acquisition of the horse proved to be a comical and physically demanding ordeal. The animal was understandably uncooperative, requiring immense effort and clumsy coordination from the young men to move it toward the celebration area. During the chaotic transport, Jacob suffered a significant injury, a painful reminder of the unpredictable consequences of Richard's grandiose schemes. Richard, displaying a fleeting moment of empathy, advised Jacob to rest, but immediately redirected his focus to the sheer magnificence of the animal, completely consumed by the vision of his impending triumph. Elsewhere in the community, Bubbles was navigating his own set of challenges. He was busy making deliveries of his popular craft beverage, diligently working to maximize his profits and build a secure financial foundation. He encountered a particularly aggressive and confrontational neighbor named Donald. Donald was furious about a minor vehicular incident involving the gravel near his residence, and loudly demanded immediate compensation for past grievances. Bubbles, demonstrating remarkable emotional intelligence and conflict resolution skills, remained exceptionally calm in the face of Donald's intense verbal assault. He gracefully offered a complimentary supply of his premium beverage as a gesture of goodwill, effectively diffusing the volatile situation and silently reflecting on the exhausting nature of living with such constant, unregulated anger. As the sun began to set, casting long golden shadows across the neighborhood, James and Randall returned to their modest living quarters, eager to begin their new lives in peace. Their hopes for a quiet evening were immediately dashed by the sudden and aggressive arrival of Julian. Julian was visibly furious, his posture radiating hostility as he confronted the two older men. He held them entirely responsible for the catastrophic events that had recently decimated his own life, blaming their past administrative actions for his current state of absolute destitution. James and Randall, displaying a newfound maturity born from their recent confinement, remained calm and composed. They readily accepted full responsibility for their past transgressions, expressing sincere remorse for the pain they had caused. They attempted to present their carefully crafted plan for financial restitution, hoping to offer Julian the $25,000 as a profound gesture of reconciliation. However, Julian, blinded by his deep-seated resentment and financial desperation, refused to listen. He aggressively dictated his own punitive terms, demanding that James and Randall surrender half of their future earnings to him indefinitely until a massive, arbitrary debt was settled. The sheer injustice and cruelty of Julian's demand left James and Randall deeply unsettled. When Julian finally departed, James turned to Randall, his mind racing with desperate alternatives. He realized that surrendering to Julian's extortion was unsustainable and would condemn them to a life of perpetual servitude. In a moment of flawed logic driven by anxiety, James proposed a dangerous alternative. He suggested that they take the $25,000 they had intended to give Julian and risk it all on speculative wagers at the local horse racing track. He convinced himself that they could easily multiply the funds, creating enough wealth to satisfy Julian's demands and secure their own financial independence. It was a tragic regression into old, destructive habits, a desperate gamble born from a deep fear of the future. The evening culminated in the highly anticipated community gathering organized by Richard. A large crowd of residents had assembled, their spirits lifted by the festive atmosphere and the promise of a spectacular announcement. Richard took the center stage, his voice amplified by a microphone, his heart pounding with a mixture of anxiety and immense pride. He warmly welcomed the crowd, expressing his deep gratitude for their presence and their enduring friendship. He framed the evening as a monumental occasion, a definitive turning point in his life. With a dramatic flourish, Richard signaled for Corey and Jacob to reveal the grand surprise. They led the magnificent, albeit slightly bewildered, horse into the center of the gathering. The crowd erupted into a mixture of astonishment and confusion. Richard proudly declared that the beautiful animal was a gift for the love of his life, Susan, and announced his intention to ask for her hand in marriage. The grand gesture, however, did not elicit the joyful reaction Richard had anticipated. Julian and Bubbles immediately pulled him aside, their faces etched with profound concern and utter disbelief. They strongly criticized the extreme extravagance and fundamental absurdity of presenting a live farm animal as an engagement gift. They gently but firmly reminded Richard that a successful marriage requires a foundation of mutual respect, stability, and genuine compatibility, none of which were currently present in his volatile relationship with Susan. They urged him to reconsider his actions, advising him to return the animal and focus on building a healthy connection rather than relying on overwhelming theatrical displays. Richard, feeling misunderstood and defensive, argued that his immense love for Susan was strong enough to overcome their frequent conflicts. He believed that grand gestures and intense passion were sufficient substitutes for peaceful communication and emotional maturity. He stubbornly refused to abandon his plan, convinced that the sheer scale of his gift would secure Susan's devotion forever. The atmosphere shifted dramatically when Susan finally arrived at the celebration. She did not approach Richard with love or gratitude, but rather with a blazing fury that silenced the entire crowd. She launched into a devastating verbal assault, publicly accusing Richard of profound betrayal and infidelity. She claimed, with absolute conviction, that he had transmitted a severe infection to her, an act that had completely destroyed her trust and ruined her life. Richard was genuinely shocked and deeply confused by her accusations. He vehemently denied engaging in any unfaithful behavior, stating clearly and honestly that he had been entirely devoted to her. As the bitter argument escalated in front of the horrified community, a profound and tragic realization slowly dawned upon Richard. If he had been completely faithful, the only logical explanation for the transmission of the infection was that Susan herself had been intimately involved with someone else. When Richard articulated this logical conclusion, Susan's defensive posture shattered. She resorted to hurling cruel insults regarding his physical appearance, his intelligence, and his financial status, attempting to deflect her own guilt by attacking his deepest insecurities. The confrontation reached a painful crescendo, culminating in a definitive and highly emotional termination of their relationship. The public spectacle left Richard humiliated and emotionally devastated. He retreated from the crowd, seeking solace in the quiet shadows away from the festive lights. Julian and Bubbles approached him with gentle compassion, offering their silent support in the face of his profound heartbreak. They reassured him that the separation, while incredibly painful in the moment, was ultimately a positive development. They affirmed that he deserved a relationship built on mutual trust and respect, freeing him from the toxic cycle of conflict and deception. As the night wore on and the crowds dispersed, the three lifelong friends found themselves sitting together in a moment of quiet, sobering reflection. The events of the day, with all their chaotic failures and painful revelations, hung heavily in the air between them. Bubbles, recognizing the critical importance of the moment, decided to speak his mind with unprecedented clarity and emotional force. He looked deeply into the eyes of his two oldest friends and immediately recognized the underlying motive behind Julian's sudden interest in corporate valuation. He understood that Julian was currently facing severe financial difficulties and was likely searching for an opportunity to insert himself into the thriving brewing business. Bubbles respectfully but firmly rebuffed Julian's attempts to use complex business terminology to gain an unearned share of the enterprise. He reminded Julian that true success comes from personal initiative, not from attempting to control the hard work of others. Julian, unable to hide his desperation, confessed the dire nature of his financial situation. He explained his sincere desire to transition into a legitimate lifestyle, but admitted he was finding the process incredibly challenging without a stable source of income. He recounted a deeply embarrassing social encounter from the previous evening, where his lack of funds forced his companion to cover the cost of their modest entertainment. Bubbles listened with genuine compassion, understanding the profound humiliation Julian felt. He offered Julian a small token of assistance, a simple gesture of friendship to help him through the difficult day. Julian, grappling with his pride, initially resisted the charitable offer, but ultimately accepted it, his frustration highlighting the painful reality of his circumstances. Later that afternoon, Richard returned to his family, his physical appearance reflecting the chaotic and disastrous events of the previous night. He was visibly injured, his arm bearing a significant wound. When questioned about his condition, Richard attempted to deflect the concern by focusing the conversation on his current romantic relationship with a woman named Susan. He spoke at length about the intense emotional and physical connection they shared, expressing his genuine surprise at how much he had missed the simple comfort of having a partner to share his life with. He admitted that their dynamic was occasionally volatile, but insisted that their profound affection easily outweighed any interpersonal difficulties. He enthusiastically noted that their relationship had even inspired him to focus on improving his physical health and overall well-being. Despite Richard's positive outlook on his romance, Bubbles harbored deep, unspoken reservations about Susan. He recognized that it was crucial for Richard to have a supportive partner, but he sensed an underlying psychological intensity in Susan that caused him great concern. He worried that she possessed a subtle, manipulative influence over Richard, guiding his thoughts and decisions without his conscious awareness. The focus of the group quickly returned to Richard's alarming physical state. The wound on his arm was severe, demanding an immediate explanation. Richard, desperate to maintain the illusion of his innocent activities, fabricated an elaborate story about a recreational outing with Corey and Jacob. He claimed they had been participating in a novel sport that combined rollerblading and skiing, a poorly conceived activity that resulted in a catastrophic fall on a treacherous patch of gravel. He detailed the horrific impact, specifically mentioning that Jacob had suffered the brunt of the collision. The falsehood of Richard's narrative was immediately apparent to his family. His daughter and her partner demanded the truth, correctly identifying the nature of his injuries as being entirely inconsistent with a simple fall. Confronted by the undeniable evidence and the piercing disappointment in their eyes, Richard finally abandoned his deception. He confessed the heavy secret he had been carrying throughout the entire summer. He admitted that he had not been attending the educational courses and vocational training programs he had promised to complete. Instead, he had been secretly cultivating a large agricultural project in an isolated area of the woods. The revelation caused a wave of profound sorrow and frustration to wash over his family. They reminded him of the solemn promises he had made to improve his life through legitimate means. Richard, overwhelmed with remorse, attempted to justify his actions by describing the sheer beauty and potential of his creation. He spoke passionately about the innovative techniques he had learned and the massive scale of the operation. He pleaded with them to understand that he was merely one successful transaction away from securing a comfortable retirement for their entire family. His loved ones, however, remained unmoved by his rationalizations. They emphasized that the pursuit of illegal wealth was never a valid excuse for deceit and putting himself in mortal danger. Richard detailed the heartbreaking climax of his endeavor, explaining how his meticulously planned harvest was violently interrupted by thieves who stole his entire crop and caused his injuries. His daughter was particularly outraged that he had endangered the life of her partner by involving him in such a perilous situation. Richard weakly attempted to shift the blame, arguing that Jacob had volunteered for the mission, but his defense sounded hollow even to his own ears. He expressed a deep, burning desire to seek out the individuals who had wronged him and exact a harsh retribution, but his family firmly forbade any further escalation. They insisted that the chapter must be closed immediately, urging him to walk away from the dangerous lifestyle once and for all. Despite the crushing weight of his failure and the disappointment of his family, Richard stubbornly clung to the idea of his impending grand celebration. He insisted that the event would still proceed as planned, promising a monumental announcement that would overshadow his recent transgressions. His family, exhausted by his constant cycle of chaotic schemes and subsequent apologies, expressed deep skepticism. They warned him that his announcement needed to be truly spectacular to compensate for the trust he had broken. Meanwhile, in a completely different sector of their town, two older gentlemen, James and Randall, were taking their first tentative steps into a world of renewed freedom. They had just been released from a period of strict institutional confinement, a deeply humbling experience that had fundamentally altered their perspective on life. James expressed a profound sense of gratitude, noting that despite losing all their material possessions and having to rebuild their lives from the very beginning, they were incredibly fortunate to have their freedom and each other. He spoke eloquently about how the adversity of their confinement had strengthened their emotional bond, forging a resilient partnership that could withstand any future hardship. Their peaceful contemplation was abruptly interrupted by the arrival of a local law enforcement official named Theodore. Theodore approached them with a highly irregular and morally ambiguous proposition. He revealed that a massive sum of confiscated funds, totaling $400,000, was slated to be locked away indefinitely in a bureaucratic evidence facility. Believing that the funds could be better utilized by his department for essential upgrades, Theodore had discreetly redirected the money. To ensure the absolute silence of James and Randall regarding this massive procedural violation, he offered them a substantial bribe of $50,000. He framed the payment as a necessary transaction to secure their future cooperation, thinly veiling his offer with a threat of severe legal retaliation if they ever chose to reveal the truth. James and Randall, recognizing the immense power imbalance and the potential for immediate financial relief, accepted the illicit funds. They solemnly promised to maintain absolute secrecy, acutely aware that any violation of this agreement would result in the complete destruction of their newly reclaimed lives. As they walked away from the encounter, James and Randall debated the best course of action regarding their sudden windfall. They recognized that their past conflicts with Julian were a source of ongoing tension and danger. James suggested that they use a portion of the money to make a generous financial offering to Julian, hoping to permanently resolve their historical grievances and establish a peaceful coexistence. They rationalized that by offering Julian half of the funds, $25,000, they could purchase their safety and still retain enough capital to live comfortably for a significant period. However, they mutually agreed that the true origin of the money must forever remain a secret. Back at the residential park, Richard was eagerly showcasing his latest creation to Corey and Jacob. He had constructed an elaborate, multi-level living structure attached to his modest dwelling. He proudly guided them through the various sections, highlighting the functional kitchen, the comfortable sleeping quarters, and the impressive entertainment system. He specifically pointed out a specially designed area dedicated to the comfort of his beloved grandson, demonstrating a touching depth of familial devotion. Richard then led them up to the crowning achievement of his architectural endeavor, a spacious and surprisingly well-appointed upper deck. The area was furnished with comfortable seating, a high-quality sound system, and custom-built lighting fixtures. He even demonstrated a highly unconventional but practically designed plumbing solution that highlighted his unique approach to problem-solving. The young men were genuinely impressed by the craftsmanship and the sheer ingenuity of the structure, praising Richard for his remarkable skills. Despite the undeniable success of his construction project, Richard remained deeply anxious about. He began by declaring his unconditional and eternal love for both Ricky and Julian. He assured them that this fraternal love would never fade regardless of their circumstances. However, he stated firmly that the time had come for a profound and necessary awakening. He asked them to truly examine their lives and their reflections in the mirror. He pointed out with gentle honesty that they were all growing older and their physical health was beginning to naturally decline. Despite the inevitable passage of time, their behavior remained frozen in the reckless and dangerous patterns of their youth. They continued to break the rules of society and engage in foolish activities as if they were still 17 years old. He passionately argued that these actions benefited absolutely no one and only brought pain, disappointment, and instability to their community. Ricky attempted to argue that he had almost achieved total financial independence through his recent agricultural project, but Bubbles quickly and firmly dismissed the empty excuse. He reminded Ricky that engaging in illegal ventures was a foolish path built on deception and constant fear. Bubbles pointed out his own legitimate success with the beverage company as living proof that an honest and rewarding life was entirely possible for anyone willing to work hard. He warned his dear friends that their current trajectory would inevitably lead to a cold and lonely future hidden away from the beauty of the world in a concrete cell. He painted a sorrowful picture of them facing their final days without the comforting presence of family or the supportive hand of a true friend to hold. He concluded his powerful and emotional message by pleading with them to permanently abandon their misguided ways. If they truly valued their brotherhood and their own lives, they had to embrace true maturity and walk together toward a brighter, more honorable future. He left them to ponder his profound words in the quiet evening air, hoping with all his heart that his sincere plea would finally inspire the positive change they so desperately needed to find true happiness and lasting peace. The night air was heavy with the rich scent of damp pine needles and the quiet promise of a new beginning as Richard stood at the edge of the dense forest clearing. He took a long, slow breath, allowing the cool, untamed breeze to fill his lungs, and for the very first time in his adult life, a profound sense of genuine accomplishment washed over his weary shoulders. He looked out over the meticulously arranged rows of vibrant green plants he had so carefully cultivated over the past several months, dedicating countless hours of physical labor and newly acquired agricultural knowledge to their growth. This secret garden, hidden away from the skeptical eyes of his community, was his ultimate ticket to a better, more stable life. It represented a chance to finally provide for his beloved family without having to rely on the constant guidance and interventions of his lifelong companions, Julian and Bubbles. He reflected deeply on his past endeavors, acknowledging with a heavy heart that things had often gone terribly wrong precisely because he lacked independence and proper planning. The chaotic interventions of his friends, while well-intentioned, had frequently complicated matters beyond repair. This time, however, Richard had taken the initiative to educate himself. He understood that if a person truly desired to have a task completed with precision and excellence, they had to take the responsibility upon their own shoulders. He had meticulously studied botany, irrigation techniques, and soil management, transforming himself from an aimless dreamer into a dedicated cultivator. He silently acknowledged that his friends had offered minor assistance in the past, but this grand achievement was entirely his own masterpiece. He felt an overwhelming surge of pride knowing he had successfully negotiated an incredibly lucrative, completely private arrangement with a prominent herbal distributor located in the bustling city of Halifax. The transaction was set to be finalized in pure, untraceable currency, promising an immediate end to his lifelong financial struggles. He envisioned a future where he could finally declare his retirement from the stress of constant survival, a future where he could stand tall as a successful provider. Richard was acutely aware that Julian and Bubbles would likely feel a deep sense of betrayal and anger when they eventually discovered he had excluded them from this monumental opportunity. He had initially considered sharing the wealth immediately, but his desire for an independent victory had overpowered his sense of communal sharing. To mitigate their inevitable disappointment, he conceived a brilliant plan to organize a massive, extravagant celebration for the entire neighborhood. He firmly believed that a grand gesture of hospitality, overflowing with joy and shared abundance, possessed the magical ability to mend any fractured relationship. He reasoned that once they saw his success and partied in his honor, all past grievances would dissolve into the festive atmosphere. With his plans set in motion, Richard gathered his two younger, eager associates, Corey and Jacob, leading them stealthily toward the hidden plantation just past the thick tree line. He instructed them with absolute authority, demanding complete silence and unwavering focus. The task at hand required immense speed and precision, as they needed to harvest the entire crop and transport it away from the location before the morning sun illuminated their activities. The young men agreed enthusiastically, expressing their deep gratitude for being trusted with such a vital mission. They assured Richard of their competence, their youthful energy masking the inherent risks of their nocturnal endeavor. However, the tranquility of the forest was suddenly shattered by an unexpected and terrifying presence. As they approached the clearing, they were confronted by a group of unknown individuals who had maliciously trespassed on the property. Richard realized with a sickening jolt of panic that these strangers were armed and hostile, their aggressive posture indicating a clear intent to seize the fruits of his arduous labor. The situation escalated rapidly into a chaotic and dangerous confrontation. Richard shouted for his companions to retreat, his dreams of immediate wealth collapsing around him in a terrifying instant. They fled through the dense undergrowth, their hearts pounding with fear and their bodies battered by the unforgiving terrain. As they scrambled to safety, Richard felt a crushing wave of despair wash over him. He questioned the inherent fairness of the universe, wondering aloud why his most sincere efforts to improve his life were continuously met with such devastating obstacles. It was a harsh, unforgiving lesson in the realities of unverified business dealings, serving as a painful reminder that true security cannot be built on a foundation of secrecy and risky shortcuts. Meanwhile, in a brighter, more hopeful corner of their community, Bubbles was experiencing a remarkably different kind of entrepreneurial success. He had taken a modest, traditional recipe for a savory sauce and cleverly sold the intellectual property rights to an eccentric investor, generating a small but significant amount of initial capital. Instead of squandering this newfound wealth, Bubbles demonstrated remarkable financial prudence by reinvesting every single penny into establishing a legitimate, small-scale beverage brewing operation. He proudly displayed his meticulously clean and organized equipment to anyone who visited, his face glowing with the satisfaction of honest labor. He explained how his business had started at a cautious pace, requiring immense patience and dedication, but was now generating a very respectable and consistent income. His flagship product, a robust and flavorful craft beverage, was selling in tremendous volumes to the enthusiastic residents of the local park. Bubbles marveled at the sheer joy of his booming enterprise. He found the process of creating something valuable from raw ingredients to be deeply fulfilling, a stark and welcome contrast to his previous years spent performing menial and unpredictable tasks. However, the rapid growth of his business also brought a new level of intense pressure. On this particular day, he was working feverishly to bottle an enormous batch of his beverage because Richard had placed a massive order for 22 large containers. Bubbles deduced that Richard must be preparing for an extraordinarily significant announcement to require such a vast quantity of refreshments. The anticipation filled Bubbles with a contagious excitement, motivating him to work with unprecedented speed and efficiency. As Bubbles managed his bustling operation, he was visited by Julian, who was accompanied by an older gentleman from the neighborhood. Julian inquired about the current state of the brewing business, his tone carrying a mixture of casual interest and underlying calculation. Bubbles, radiating positivity, confirmed that the business was performing exceptionally well, providing him with a sense of stability he had never known before. The older gentleman, attempting to contribute to the entrepreneurial spirit, humorously suggested that Bubbles should create a specialized, protein-enriched beverage branded with Julian's likeness to capitalize on his strong physique. Bubbles chuckled at the creative marketing concept, appreciating the light-hearted camaraderie. However, the conversation quickly shifted to more serious financial matters. Julian began interrogating Bubbles about his sales figures and overall profit margins. Bubbles, possessing a keen intuition, walked up the wooden stairs and joined him, his face etched with a profound seriousness. Bubbles looked at Ricky, and then at Julian, who had wandered over to join them. Bubbles took a deep breath, preparing to deliver a message that had been building inside his heart for a very long time. He began by assuring his two closest friends that he loved them deeply and that his affection for them would never fade. Ricky and Julian murmured their agreement, sensing the gravity of the moment. Bubbles asked them to remain completely silent and listen to his words carefully. He asked them a simple but piercing question. He wanted to know if they had looked in a mirror recently. He urged them to truly examine themselves. He pointed out the harsh reality of their situation. They were all growing older. The days of their youth were far behind them. They were losing their physical vitality and their lives were not progressing. He emphasized the tragedy of their stagnant existence. They were still engaging in the same illegal activities and reckless behavior that they had practiced when they were mere teenagers. Nothing in their lives was fundamentally changing, and their actions were not bringing any genuine benefit to anyone, least of all themselves. Ricky softly protested, holding onto the fading dream of his lost harvest. He whispered that he had been incredibly close to success that morning. He believed he was on the verge of a comfortable retirement. Bubbles immediately dismissed this delusion. He firmly reminded Ricky that he was not retired. The fact that Ricky had felt compelled to lie to his own family about his activities was proof that his path was fundamentally flawed. Bubbles declared that this moment needed to serve as a massive wake-up call for all of them. He pointed to his own life as an example. He had worked tirelessly to build a legitimate, honest business, and he was finally seeing the rewards of his labor. He pleaded with his friends to abandon their criminal schemes. He painted a bleak picture of their future if they continued down their current path. He warned them that their endless pursuit of easy money would inevitably lead to a permanent return to prison. He described the heartbreaking reality of growing old behind bars, entirely alone. He told Ricky that if he continued to break the law, he would take his final breaths in a cold cell, without his family by his side, and without Bubbles there to hold his hand in his final moments. The words hung heavily in the cool night air. The profound truth of the statement resonated deeply within Ricky and Julian. Bubbles concluded his emotional plea by stating that if they truly loved him, they must commit to ending their illegal activities forever. He asked them to spend the rest of the night seriously contemplating their future and the value of their brotherhood. He turned and quietly walked down the stairs of the deck, leaving Ricky and Julian alone with their thoughts, the quiet hum of the trailer park, and the heavy realization that it was finally time to grow up and embrace a better, more honest way of living. The evening sky stretched endlessly over the quiet trailer park as Ricky stood alone in the cool breeze. This was a truly monumental night for him. He took a deep breath of the fresh air and felt a profound sense of achievement wash over his weary soul. For the first time in his long and complicated life, he had accomplished something significant entirely on his own merit. He reflected on his past endeavors and realized that his previous failures were often the result of relying too heavily on the chaotic energy of his dearest friends Julian and Bubbles. He loved them like brothers, but he knew their combined efforts usually led to unexpected disasters. He felt a deep sense of pride because he had finally educated himself and taken control of his own destiny. He stated quietly to the wind that if a person wanted a task done correctly, they had to execute it themselves. He turned to his loyal companion Corey and acknowledged that Corey had provided some valuable assistance as well. Corey eagerly agreed and reminded Ricky that the group always supported him through every challenge. Ricky calmly requested that his friend remain silent for a moment so he could finish his thought and bask in his success. He then revealed his magnificent secret. He had secured an incredible arrangement with a highly respected herbal dispensary in the bustling city of Halifax. The organization had promised to pay him in pure physical currency for his botanical efforts. He felt a wave of profound relief wash over him as he declared that he was finally finished with his daily struggles. He had achieved his ultimate goal of financial security. He pondered the reaction of Julian and Bubbles, knowing they would likely be slightly upset when they discovered he had orchestrated this massive agricultural venture entirely in secret. He reasoned that he could easily resolve any lingering tension by hosting a massive and joyous celebration. In his optimistic mind, a grand party possessed the magical ability to mend any complicated situation and bring people together in harmony. Deep in the woods past the dark tree line, Ricky led his friends Corey and Jacob through the thick underbrush. The shadows of the tall pines stretched across the damp soil. Ricky instructed his companions to remain completely silent and focused on the task at hand. Their mission was to harvest the carefully cultivated plants as swiftly as possible and depart before the bright morning sun illuminated the sky. The young men eagerly agreed and expressed their deep gratitude for being included in such a significant and lucrative harvest. Suddenly, an unexpected loud noise shattered the peaceful silence of the forest. Panic erupted among the group. Jacob thought it might be the local authorities arriving to inspect the property. Someone yelled that it was merely a warning sound from a loud deterrent device used by rival farmers. Fear overtook the group in an instant. They scrambled away in pure chaos, leaving the precious harvest behind in the dark dirt. Ricky felt a familiar and crushing wave of disappointment crash over his hopeful heart. He lamented to the universe, wondering why misfortune continually derailed his greatest efforts. He felt utterly defeated by the relentless challenges of life, but he knew he had to keep moving forward to protect his friends. Meanwhile, in a brighter and much more cheerful part of the park, Bubbles was experiencing a massive surge of entrepreneurial success. He was standing near his newly constructed wooden brewing station. The afternoon sun cast a warm golden glow over the intricate glass containers and the neatly arranged ingredients. He smiled brightly as he greeted his older friend Pops and the strong, thoughtful Julian. He proudly displayed his new enterprise and explained that he had sold his famous pizza sauce recipe to a mysterious investor with an unusual voice. He had taken every single penny from that profitable transaction and invested it into creating his very own line of crafted beverages. He pointed to the rows of bottles filled with a rich amber liquid and noted that his business was expanding rapidly. He mentioned that a local resident named Donnie had become his most loyal customer. The demand was so high that Bubbles was feeling a significant amount of pressure to perform. Ricky had just announced a mysterious but monumental gathering and requested 22 large containers of the special beverage. Bubbles knew the news had to be incredibly important to warrant such a massive order. Julian listened closely and his eyes widened with keen interest. He noted the obvious financial success of Bubbles and suggested they form a strategic partnership. Julian proposed creating a special health drink named after himself to capitalize on his muscular physique. Bubbles politely declined the offer and gently requested that Julian refrain from using complicated corporate terminology. He stated proudly that he also watched educational programs about finance and understood the value of his independent company. Julian confessed his dire financial situation to his successful friend. He explained with a heavy heart that he was completely out of money and struggling to maintain a legitimate and comfortable lifestyle. He recounted a humbling experience from the previous evening when his romantic companion had to purchase their snacks during a simple movie date. Bubbles gently scolded him, reminding him that commercial entertainment was a poor financial choice for someone with empty pockets. Julian defended himself, explaining they were simply watching a film in his own home, and he could not even afford a simple bag of heated corn kernels. The stress of poverty was overwhelming his spirit. Bubbles, feeling a powerful wave of compassion for his lifelong friend, offered him a small portion of his recent earnings. Julian initially resisted the charitable gesture out of pride, but Bubbles insisted, pointing out that true friends support each other during difficult times. He wanted Julian to feel secure and happy. The tranquility of the afternoon was broken when Ricky arrived, nursing a painful-looking injury on his arm. Julian immediately suspected that the new girlfriend of Ricky was responsible for the wound. Ricky quickly defended his romantic partner, Susan. He explained that he had been courting Susan for 5 months and their relationship had been a wonderful revelation. He expressed how beautiful it felt to share his life with someone again after so many lonely years. He admitted she had a strong personality, but their deep romantic connection was the most powerful he had ever experienced in his entire life. Their love inspired him to improve, praising its beauty. He urged his friends to hurry, knowing they needed to return to the park. The horse refused to budge. Ricky instructed Jacob to push from behind while Corey pulled from the front. Corey expressed deep concern, having heard that standing directly behind a horse was a dangerous idea. Ricky ordered him to stop talking and focus on the task. Despite their combined efforts, the horse remained perfectly still. In a moment of sheer frustration, Jacob slapped the rear of the animal. The horse reacted instantly, delivering a powerful kick that sent Jacob tumbling to the ground in immense pain. Ricky apologized profusely to Jacob, but insisted that they had to leave immediately. Jacob groaned, complaining that his neck and ribs were severely injured. Ricky tried to downplay the injuries, suggesting that nothing could be done for broken ribs anyway, and declared that a trip to the hospital was unnecessary. He commanded Corey to help Jacob while he managed the horse, once again questioning his decision to involve them in his schemes. Back at the park, Bubbles was busy making deliveries in his modified beer cart. He had equipped a small vehicle with a decorative cape and a loudspeaker, creating a charming mobile dispensary. He drove through the neighborhood, feeling proud of his hard work. He approached the residence of his most frequent customer, a man named Donnie. Donnie was notorious for his explosive temper. As Bubbles arrived, Donnie was in the middle of a furious tirade. He was screaming about someone ruining the gravel near his home and demanding the return of some food items that Ricky had allegedly taken the previous week. Bubbles maintained his composure and gently told Donnie to relax. He offered Donnie a complimentary case of beer to compensate for the troubles. Donnie aggressively accepted the offer and demanded that Bubbles deliver his angry message to Ricky. Bubbles calmly asked if Donnie would be attending the big party later that evening. Donnie yelled that he had not yet decided. As Bubbles drove away, he marveled at the exhausting nature of living with such constant, intense anger, worrying that Donnie might suffer a medical emergency from his own rage. As Mr. Leahy and Randy walked through the park toward their home, they were intercepted by Julian. Julian was visibly furious and demanded their immediate attention. He blamed the two men for completely ruining his life and causing the recent chaotic events. Randy stepped forward, attempting to defuse the situation. He stated that he and Mr. Leahy were willing to take full responsibility for their actions and expressed their deep regret. Julian ignored their apologies and outlined his harsh terms. Because they had cost him $400,000 in lost revenue, Julian declared that he would confiscate half of their wages for the rest of their natural lives until the debt was entirely repaid. Randy was shocked by the severity of the demand. Mr. Leahy, attempting to maintain peace, quickly accepted the terms. He silenced Randy and assured Julian that they understood the arrangement. Randy was bewildered by the easy surrender, but Mr. Leahy had a secret strategy. The time for the great party had finally arrived. The residents of the trailer park gathered around the newly built deck of Ricky. Music played loudly, and the atmosphere was festive. Ricky stepped forward, a microphone in his hand, and greeted the cheering crowd. He asked how everyone was doing, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Ricky announced that today was a monumental occasion for him, and he was grateful that everyone had come to share the moment. He signaled to Corey and Jacob, who were waiting in the wings. Slowly, they led the magnificent horse into the center of the gathering. The crowd gasped in astonishment. Ricky proudly presented the animal, declaring it to be a symbol of his love. He announced to the stunned audience that he intended to give this beautiful horse to Susan, the love of his life, and ask her to marry him. Julian and Bubbles pushed their way through the crowd, their faces pale with shock. Julian urgently advised Ricky to reconsider. He argued that a genuine marriage proposal did not require the presentation of a massive farm animal. He reasoned that if Susan truly loved Ricky, she would accept him without such a bizarre spectacle. Bubbles echoed this sentiment, pointing out the deeply flawed nature of the relationship between Ricky and Susan. He reminded Ricky that they spent the majority of their time engaging in bitter arguments. Bubbles questioned the logic of bringing a horse into such a volatile dynamic. He urged Ricky to return the animal immediately. Ricky defended his decision, arguing that the intense passion in their relationship balanced out the frequent disagreements. Bubbles was baffled by this strange philosophy. Ricky conceded that perhaps the horse was a slight exaggeration, but he maintained that the core of the announcement, the engagement itself was genuine and beautiful. Bubbles sighed, expressing his simple desire for Ricky to find true happiness, even if his methods were highly unconventional. At that very moment, Susan arrived at the party. She pushed her way to the front of the crowd, her face twisted in pure fury. She did not look at the horse or the romantic setting. Instead, she launched into a vicious verbal attack against Ricky. She accused him of terrible betrayals. She screamed that she had been forced to leave her home because Ricky had allegedly transmitted a severe communicable infection to her. She called him a liar and a cheater, declaring loudly that their relationship was permanently finished. Ricky was completely bewildered. He desperately tried to calm her down, insisting that he had been entirely faithful to her. He stated that it was medically impossible for him to have given her such an infection because he had never strayed from their relationship. Susan laughed bitterly at his defense. In her rage, she inadvertently revealed a shocking secret of her own. She admitted that she was the one who had been unfaithful. In fact, she confessed that she had been living with another partner for the past 16 years. Ricky was absolutely devastated by this revelation. He had genuinely believed they shared a deep connection and had planned to propose marriage to her on this very day. Susan mocked his proposal, insulting his intelligence, his appearance, and his lifestyle. She labeled him a complete failure. The argument escalated into a chaotic shouting match in front of the entire community. Eventually, Julian gently pulled Ricky away from the confrontation. He told his heartbroken friend to let her go, assuring him that the breakup was ultimately for the best. Ricky, deeply wounded but realizing the truth in the words of Julian, watched sadly as Susan stormed away from the party. The residents slowly dispersed, leaving Ricky alone with his friends and the confusing presence of the horse. In the quiet aftermath of the disastrous party, Mr. Leahy and Randy retreated to their home to discuss their financial strategy. Randy was still deeply upset that Mr. Leahy had agreed to surrender half of their wages to Julian. He felt the terms were completely unfair and ridiculous. Mr. Leahy smiled reassuringly and explained his brilliant plan. He pointed out that it would take a very long time for Julian to actually collect $25,000 from their modest salaries. In the meantime, they could take the hush money they had received from Ted and use it to generate even more wealth. Randy asked how they could possibly achieve such a feat. Mr. Leahy revealed his strategy. They would take the money to the local horse racing track. He confidently declared that they would simply relax, consume some beverages, and allow their intuition to guide them in selecting the winning horses. He even cheerfully mentioned the excellent food available at the track canteen. The evening descended upon the trailer park, casting long shadows over the quieted homes. Bubbles sat alone by his brewing equipment, reflecting on the chaotic events of the day. Despite the disaster of the party, his beer sales had been surprisingly strong. He realized that the emotional turmoil of the community often led to increased demand for his product. Julian approached him, looking somewhat subdued. Julian explained that he had a romantic date planned with a woman named Skylar, whom he had met at a local community gathering. He asked Bubbles if he could borrow a few beers to impress her. Bubbles, feeling the strain of constantly providing for his friends without compensation, expressed his frustration. He reminded Julian that brewing the beer required significant effort and financial investment. Julian urged him to relax, promising to repay the debt eventually. Bubbles reluctantly handed over a 6-pack of beer, sighing at the familiar pattern of their lives. Shortly after, another resident approached Bubbles, desperate for a small loan of $20 to purchase beverages to numb his own sadness. Bubbles gently declined, explaining that he had no extra money to spare. Ricky sat quietly on his impressive new deck, nursing his broken heart and a cold beverage. Bubbles won the theft, claiming they had purchased the items at a new local store called I Read Everything. Julian rolled his eyes at the obvious fabrication. The tension escalated when the father of Jacob entered the room. He was furious and demanded to know why there were small metallic objects embedded in the chest of Jacob. Ricky nervously repeated his lie, insisting that the objects were merely pieces of gravel from their unfortunate rollerblade skiing accident. The father of Jacob saw right through the deception. He commanded Ricky to tell the truth, stating confidently that the objects were clearly remnants from a shotgun shell. He accused Ricky of getting shot once again and demanded honesty. Cornered and feeling deeply guilty, Ricky finally confessed to his family and friends. He apologized profusely, admitting that he had been keeping a massive secret from them for the entire summer. He revealed that he had not been taking courses to upgrade his small engine repair certification, nor had he enrolled in the crane operator program as he had claimed. Instead, he had been secretly cultivating medicinal plants in the dense woods near a local landmark. The family was devastated by the news. They could not believe Ricky had broken his promise to stay out of illegal activities. Ricky pleaded for their understanding, explaining that his project had been truly remarkable. He had collaborated with a professional grower to develop a beautiful new botanical strain. He described the elaborate irrigation system and the 75 magnificent plants that had grown to be 8 feet tall. Ricky explained that he had arranged a massive, one-time cash transaction. If the deal had been successful that very morning, he would have earned enough money to retire permanently. He confessed that he had brought Jacob and Corey along, taking full responsibility for that foolish decision. He explained that the situation was never supposed to become dangerous. However, when they arrived at the site, they discovered that an unknown group had already cut down the plants. The thieves had stolen his entire harvest and fired weapons at them. The family was appalled. They berated Ricky for endangering the life of Jacob, the husband of his daughter. Ricky weakly defended himself by claiming that Jacob had wanted to participate. The family dismissed this excuse, pointing out the absurdity of letting Jacob do something so incredibly dangerous just because he wanted to. Ricky, still clinging to his lost dream, declared that he was incredibly close to a peaceful retirement. He vowed to discover the identities of the thieves and make them face severe consequences. His family immediately shut down this idea, telling him that the situation was over and that the plants were gone forever. They urged him to abandon any thoughts of revenge. They expressed their profound disappointment, noting that they should have expected his big announcement to involve illegal schemes. Ricky quickly corrected them. He insisted that his upcoming major announcement had absolutely nothing to do with the failed botanical project. He promised that it was something entirely different and far more important than a minor business deal. The family remained skeptical, but Ricky assured them that the announcement was still happening and that he still required all the beer from Bubbles. He promised them a truly monumental surprise. Far away from the trailer park, Mr. Leahy and his loyal companion Randy were finally being released from a lengthy stay in a correctional facility. Mr. Leahy expressed his deep hatred for the despicable environment of the prison. He acknowledged that he and Randy had lost everything and would have to start their lives over from scratch. However, he remained optimistic. He stated that the hardship was acceptable because they were finally free and, most importantly, they had each other. Mr. Leahy spoke tenderly of his beautiful Randy. He believed that their time in confinement had brought them closer together than ever before, strengthening their bond of love. He only hoped that Randy would remain mentally stable as they transitioned back to freedom. Their joyful release was interrupted by the arrival of a corrupt police officer named Ted. Ted approached the two men with a serious demeanor. He acknowledged that they were now free men but noted that there were rumors they might try to cause trouble for him. Mr. Leahy confidently replied that the truth would eventually set them free. Ted smirked and offered a wager of $50,000 that they would remain silent. He explained that this money was intended to ensure their absolute cooperation. Ted revealed a shocking truth. Ted handed over a portion of the stolen money to Mr. Leahy and Randy, describing it as hush money to tie up loose ends. He issued a stern warning, threatening to fabricate new criminal charges and send them back to prison if they ever spoke a single word about the arrangement. Mr. Leahy and Randy, intimidated but grateful for the unexpected cash, quickly agreed to the terms and promised their silence. Back at the trailer park, Ricky was eagerly showing off his latest architectural achievement. He had single-handedly constructed an elaborate wooden deck attached to his trailer. He gave a grand tour to Corey and Jacob, The structure featured a fully functional outdoor kitchen, a comfortable sleeping area, and a nice flat-screen television. He proudly pointed out a small sleeping space he had designed specifically for a young child who occasionally visited. Ricky then guided them to the upper level of the deck, which he considered his masterpiece. It boasted a spacious patio with comfortable reclining chairs, a music player, another television, and a beautifully crafted lamp that Ricky had made himself. He even pointed out a small stool he had built for Jacob. The most unusual feature was a custom plumbing system that allowed water to flow directly from the upper deck down into the lower bathroom. Corey and Jacob were genuinely amazed by the craftsmanship. They praised the deck, calling it incredible and wonderful. Ricky confidently agreed, stating that he knew exactly how brilliant his creation was because he had built it with his own 2 hands. Despite his pride in the deck, Ricky was still incredibly anxious about his upcoming announcement. He knew that the news had to be truly spectacular, or he would look foolish in front of the entire community. He asked Corey and Jacob for their advice. Corey unhelpfully suggested that Ricky could announce his own passing, claiming that nothing could be bigger news than that. Ricky patiently explained the obvious logical flaw in that plan, noting that he was currently alive and standing right in front of them. Jacob then suggested that Ricky could announce a campaign to run for the presidency of the country. Ricky dismissed this idea as well, finding it entirely unbelievable. Corey then recommended making a grand entrance using a massive vehicle, such as a dump truck. Ricky grew increasingly frustrated with their unhelpful suggestions, wondering aloud why he had ever asked them for assistance. Finally, a spark of inspiration hit the group. They began discussing the idea of incorporating a large, exotic animal into the announcement. Ricky liked the concept but noted the impossibility of acquiring a snow tiger in their local area. They needed an impressive animal that was easily accessible. Jacob suggested a cow, using a very strange and unconventional term for the creature. Ricky was baffled by the strange vocabulary and rejected the cow idea. Then inspiration struck Ricky. He thought of an animal with 4 legs that lived on a farm and ate grass. Jacob mistakenly guessed a spider, which Ricky quickly corrected, reminding him of the leg count of a spider. Ricky proudly revealed his grand idea. It was a horse. Corey was astonished by the brilliance of the concept. He suggested that giving the horse as a romantic gift to Susan would make the announcement legendary. They decided that Ricky would present the horse as an engagement gift. Corey excitedly added that they could attach a fake horn to the horse, but Ricky quickly vetoed that detail, finding it too ridiculous. Nevertheless, Ricky was thrilled with the core plan. An engagement horse would undoubtedly be the greatest announcement in the history of the park. Meanwhile, Mr. Leahy and Randy were quietly discussing their newfound wealth. Randy was worried about returning to the trailer park. He reminded Mr. Leahy that Julian was likely extremely angry with them and might seek revenge. Mr. Leahy remained calm, suggesting that their new stack of cash could be the solution to all their problems. He proposed offering a portion of the money to Julian in order to wipe their slate clean and restore peace. Randy agreed that this was a sensible plan, acknowledging that their past actions had caused immense stress for everyone involved. They decided that offering Julian half of their hush money would be fair. It would secure their safety while still leaving them with enough funds to live comfortably for a very long time. They shook hands on the deal, solemnly promising never to reveal the true source of the money to anyone. Ricky, Corey, and Jacob were currently struggling with the logistics of their grand plan. They had successfully acquired a beautiful horse, but they were finding it nearly impossible to move the stubborn animal. Ricky admired the colorful blanket draped over the horse. It was to be settled entirely in cash money. He felt an overwhelming wave of relief wash over him. He was finally finished with the endless cycle of struggling. He had finally achieved a true victory. He knew that Julian and Bubbles would probably feel a little bit left out and perhaps even angry if they discovered he had organized this venture without them. He had intended to complete the transaction first and then surprise them. He decided that the best way to mend any hurt feelings would be to organize a massive celebration. He firmly believed that a joyous gathering with food and friends could fix any problem in the world. Later that night, under the cover of darkness, Ricky gathered his loyal companions Corey and Jacob. He led them quietly past the dense line of trees at the edge of the property. He instructed them to remain completely silent and to avoid any foolish behavior. Their mission was to harvest the special botanical plants as quickly as humanly possible. He wanted to complete the work and depart from the area before the morning sun began to rise. His companions eagerly agreed to the plan. They expressed their gratitude to Ricky for including them in this momentous agricultural harvest. Suddenly, the peaceful silence of the woods was shattered by a booming sound. Panic immediately set in among the group. They wondered if it was the local authorities coming to inspect the area. Ricky tried to calm them by suggesting it was merely a loud noise device used by nearby farmers to scare away birds. Despite his reassurances, terror took hold of the young men. They began to run frantically through the dark forest, abandoning their hard work. In the chaos, Ricky tripped over a large fallen branch and stumbled hard onto the ground, scraping himself on the rough stones. He expressed his deep frustration at his endless string of bad luck. He felt as though the universe was constantly placing obstacles in his path. Meanwhile, in a quieter part of the neighborhood, Bubbles was experiencing his own journey of personal growth and business development. He cheerfully greeted his friends Julian and the older gentleman known as Pops. Bubbles was eager to show them his new professional setup. He explained that he had recently sold his secret recipe for pizza sauce to a businessman with a very unique accent. Bubbles had wisely taken every single penny of that profit and reinvested it into creating his own craft beverage. He proudly displayed his work to his friends. He explained that his business had started out slowly, but it was now generating a very respectable and steady income. He pointed to the label on his product, which he had named the Green Bastard India Pale Ale. He noted with pride that he was selling a vast quantity of his beverage to the residents of their community. His enterprise was truly flourishing. He mentioned, however, that he was feeling a significant amount of pressure on this particular day. Ricky had announced that he was going to make a major public statement later that evening and had organized a large gathering. Bubbles needed to ensure that his entire current batch of beverages was properly bottled and prepared because Ricky had placed a massive order for 22 large cases. Bubbles deduced that Ricky must have some incredibly important news to share with everyone. He felt a surge of excitement for his friend. Julian observed the bustling operation and asked Bubbles how the business was treating him. Bubbles replied with genuine enthusiasm that it was a wonderful experience. He noted that it was far more rewarding and much less exhausting than his previous job of collecting discarded metal carts. Julian seemed impressed that the local residents were enjoying the product so much. A sudden thought occurred to Julian. He suggested to Bubbles that they should collaborate and create a new beverage line featuring the name and face of Julian. Bubbles considered the idea and politely responded that it might be a possibility in the future. Julian proposed calling it a protein-infused drink designed for strong individuals. He chuckled at his own creative idea. He then casually inquired about the exact financial details of the business. He wanted to know about the weekly profit margins and the overall valuation of the company. Bubbles immediately sensed the true motivation behind these questions. He pointed out to Pops that Julian only became interested in the beverage enterprise after realizing that it was generating a consistent profit. Julian became defensive and insisted that he only wanted to ensure Bubbles was making wise decisions and not being taken advantage of by anyone. He claimed to have learned many sophisticated business terms from watching television programs about wealthy investors. Bubbles could see through the facade and asked Julian to be honest about his situation. Julian finally admitted with a heavy sigh that he was completely out of money. He confessed that he was entirely broke and unsure of what steps to take next. He explained that he had been trying very hard to live a legitimate and honest life but was finding the transition to be incredibly difficult. He shared a humiliating story from the previous evening. He had invited a lovely woman over for a quiet evening of watching films, but he was so destitute that he had to ask her to purchase the corn snacks. Julian felt a deep sense of embarrassment over the incident. Bubbles gently reminded him that going to the cinema was an unnecessary expense. Julian clarified that they were simply watching a film in his own modest home, and he still could not even afford a simple bag of snacks to prepare in the kitchen appliance. He expressed his deep despair over his current financial state. Bubbles felt a wave of compassion for his longtime friend. He reached into his pocket and offered Julian a portion of his recent earnings. Julian initially tried to refuse the generous gesture, stating that he did not want to rely on charity. Bubbles firmly insisted that Julian needed the help and should accept it gracefully. Julian humbly accepted the funds and asked if Bubbles had any more to spare. Bubbles playfully scolded him and told him to appreciate what he had already been given. Their conversation was abruptly interrupted when Ricky suddenly appeared holding his arm in pain. He complained loudly about a stray animal that had caused him grief, but the true source of his distress was a severe injury on his arm. Julian was alarmed and asked Ricky how he had sustained such a terrible wound. Ricky immediately launched into a fabricated story. He claimed that he had been spending the afternoon with Corey and Jacob engaging in a new sport they called rollerblade skiing. He described how they were gliding along at a high speed when they unexpectedly encountered a large patch of rough gravel. Ricky claimed they had all fallen heavily to the ground and that Jacob had suffered the worst injuries. He complained bitterly about the existence of gravel and how it was a terrible surface for their chosen recreational activity. Julian was highly skeptical of this wild tale. He questioned how and where they had even acquired the specialized equipment. He assumed Ricky had acquired them through less than honest means. Ricky quickly defended himself by stating they had visited a new local shop that offered everything for reading and recreation. Julian was not convinced in the slightest. The truth of the situation could not be hidden for long. The young daughter of Ricky, named Trinity, and her mother Sarah soon discovered the true nature of the injuries. They found small fragments of stone embedded in the chest of Jacob. Ricky continued to insist it was merely gravel from their sporting accident, but his family knew better. They confronted him and demanded the honest truth. The heavy burden of his secret finally became too much for Ricky to bear. He gathered his loved ones and offered a sincere apology. He confessed that he had been keeping a massive secret from them for the entire duration of the summer season. He admitted that he had not been attending the educational courses he had promised to complete. He had not been studying small engine repair or learning how to operate heavy machinery. Instead, he had been secretly cultivating 75 botanical plants in a secluded area of the woods near a steep cliff. Trinity and Sarah were deeply disappointed. They reminded Ricky of the solemn promises he had made to improve his life. Ricky tried to justify his actions by describing the beauty and success of his agricultural project. He explained that he had collaborated with a professional botanist to develop a unique and wonderful new strain of plants. He described the elaborate irrigation system he had built and how some of the plants had grown to be 8 feet tall. He believed it was a masterpiece of nature. He explained that he had arranged a massive singular transaction that would have provided enough financial security for him to retire permanently. He lamented that his dreams had been shattered the previous night. He admitted his grave mistake in bringing Jacob and Corey along to help with the harvest. He recounted the tragic events of the evening. When they arrived at the secret location, they discovered that a group of unknown individuals had already cut down all of the plants. The thieves had stolen his entire crop and chased them away, causing their injuries during the frantic escape. His family was completely, utterly shocked and appalled. They could not believe Ricky would involve his own son-in-law in such a dangerous and reckless scheme. Ricky tried to shift the blame by claiming Jacob had volunteered for the task. Sarah angrily dismissed this weak excuse, pointing out that Ricky should have been the responsible adult and refused to let. He had decided to divert the funds for the benefit of his department. To ensure their absolute silence on the matter, Ted offered Leahy and Randy a substantial sum of $50,000 as hush money. He threatened to invent new charges and imprison them indefinitely if they ever spoke a word of this arrangement. Recognizing the delicate balance of power, Leahy and Randy quickly accepted the terms, promising complete silence. Back at the park, Ricky was proudly displaying his latest creation to Corey and Jacob. He had constructed an elaborate, multi-level deck on the back of his home, building every piece entirely by himself. He gave them a grand tour, showing off a makeshift kitchen, a comfortable resting area, a large television, and a patio equipped with recliners and a music player. He even demonstrated a highly unconventional plumbing system he had devised, consisting of a simple funnel and a hose that led directly to the drainage area below. He felt like royalty in his new domain. Jacob, still suffering greatly from the injuries sustained in the woods, praised the deck weakly. Ricky, moving past the tour, demanded their help. He needed an idea for the massive announcement he had promised his family, fearing he would look like a complete fool if he failed to deliver something spectacular. Corey suggested that Ricky announce he was running for president, an idea Jacob found brilliantly believable. Ricky immediately dismissed this as absurd. He demanded an idea that involved a grand entrance, perhaps something large and impressive. Jacob suggested arriving in a dump truck. Ricky grew frustrated, questioning why he had asked them for help in the first place. Finally, Corey suggested involving a large, exotic animal like a snow tiger. While Ricky appreciated the concept of an animal, he knew a snow tiger was impossible to acquire locally. Through a series of confused descriptions, they finally arrived at the idea of a horse. They decided that Ricky should present an engagement horse to Susan, making the announcement of their impending marriage truly unforgettable. Corey even suggested adding a decorative element to make the horse resemble a mythical creature, though Ricky rejected that specific detail while enthusiastically embracing the core idea of the equine gift. As the day progressed, Leahy and Randy discussed their new financial windfall. They worried about the reaction of Julian, knowing he blamed them for his recent misfortunes. They considered offering Julian a portion of the money to settle their differences and secure a peaceful future in the park. However, Leahy, influenced by his usual reliance on strong spirits, devised a different plan. He suggested they take the money to the local racing track, trusting their instincts to multiply the sum significantly, completely ignoring the massive risks involved in such a venture. Elsewhere, Bubbles was diligently making deliveries in his customized vehicle, complete with a speaker system to announce his arrival. He encountered Donnie, a neighbor known for his explosive temper. Donnie was furious about recent damage to his property and demanded restitution for a portion of food that Ricky had previously consumed. Bubbles, acting as a calm mediator, offered Donnie a complimentary case of his beverage to soothe the anger, wondering internally how someone could survive with such a constant, high level of stress. The tension in the park reached a boiling point when Leahy and Randy finally approached Julian to offer their apologies and a financial settlement. Julian, harboring deep resentment, was completely unyielding. He blamed them entirely for ruining his life and demanded that they surrender half of their wages to him for the rest of their natural lives as compensation. Recognizing the severity of his anger, Leahy and Randy quickly realized their plan to negotiate was failing, and they were left in a highly precarious situation with their angry neighbor. The moment of the grand party finally arrived. Ricky stood before the gathered crowd, a microphone in hand, his voice full of excitement. He thanked everyone for coming to witness what he called a monumental occasion. With a dramatic gesture, he signaled Corey and Jacob, who struggled to lead a large, beautiful horse into the center of the gathering. The crowd fell silent in sheer disbelief. Bubbles and Julian rushed forward, completely bewildered by the spectacle. Ricky proudly announced that the horse was a gift for the absolute love of his life, Susan, and that he intended to ask for her hand in marriage right there in front of their community. Julian severely reprimanded Ricky, telling him that a grand, ridiculous gesture was unnecessary if true love existed. Bubbles echoed this sentiment, reminding Ricky that his relationship with Susan was highly volatile, filled with constant arguments and strife. Ricky dismissed their concerns, believing that his grand romantic gesture would solve all their underlying issues. The joyous atmosphere vanished instantly when Susan finally arrived. Instead of tears of joy, her face was contorted with absolute rage. She launched into a blistering verbal assault against Ricky, accusing him of terrible betrayals. She claimed that he had engaged in relations with other women and had transmitted a terrible ailment to her, resulting in her being expelled from her own home. She insulted him deeply, calling him a liar and a failure. Ricky was entirely shocked, desperately defending his innocence. He swore that he had been completely faithful and that it was mathematically impossible for him to be the source of her ailment. In a dramatic twist, Susan then confessed her own dark secret. She revealed that she had been maintaining another secret relationship for 16 long years, completely shattering the illusion of their romance. The confrontation escalated into a chaotic frenzy of shouting and accusations until they finally declared their relationship completely and permanently over. Susan stormed away, leaving Ricky standing alone in the wake of the disaster. Julian gently advised Ricky to let her go, assuring him that he was much better off without such a volatile presence in his life. Ricky, though visibly shaken and sad, quietly agreed, declining an offer to join his friends for a distracting evening, choosing instead to sit quietly with his thoughts. As the chaotic evening drew to a close, Bubbles gathered Julian and Ricky together in a quiet corner of the park. He poured a small amount of a strong spirit into a glass and handed it to Ricky, offering a silent gesture of comfort. Bubbles took a deep breath, his face unusually serious and resolute. He told his two lifelong friends that he had something incredibly important to say, something that had been building inside him for a very long time. He began by affirming his deep, unwavering love for them both, a sentiment they quickly returned. He then asked them a difficult question, urging them to truly look at their reflections. He pointed out the harsh reality of their situation. They were getting older, their physical health was declining, and their lives were completely stagnant. He highlighted the tragic irony of their existence, noting that they continued to engage in reckless, unlawful behavior as if they were still irresponsible teenagers, yet they had absolutely nothing of value to show for their efforts. He sternly reprimanded Ricky for his recent secret project, reminding him that it was a foolish illusion to believe he was close to a comfortable retirement through such dangerous means. Bubbles then shared his own perspective, proudly stating that he had finally found a legitimate path with his new business. He expressed his deepest fear for his friends, a vision that haunted him constantly. He warned them that if they did not change their ways immediately, they would inevitably spend the rest of their natural lives locked away in a cold, unforgiving facility. He painted a heartbreaking picture of their final moments, predicting that they would take their last breaths in absolute isolation, without any family to comfort them, and without him there to hold their hands. His voice trembled with genuine emotion as he delivered his final plea. He told them that if their brotherhood meant anything at all, they had to abandon their dangerous schemes forever. He asked them to spend the night contemplating his words, hoping that the gravity of his message would finally awaken them to the reality of their fragile lives. He left them sitting in the quiet night, the weight of his profound truth settling heavily upon their shoulders, offering them a final chance at redemption and a better, more peaceful future. The evening air was cool and crisp as Ricky stood alone by the edge of the forest. This was a very significant night for him. He had finally accomplished something entirely on his own, and it had paid off in a wonderful way. He reflected on how many situations had gone wrong in the past because he had relied too heavily on his friends Julian and Bubbles. He felt a deep sense of pride that he had finally educated himself and learned the proper ways of the world. He realized that if you want a task done correctly, you must do it with your own two hands. He did admit quietly to his own heart that his friends had helped a little bit along the way. They always supported him. Ricky had managed to arrange an incredible and highly secretive business agreement with one of the local agricultural botanical dispensaries in the city of Halifax. The arrangement night for his life and his future. He had finally achieved something entirely on his own, and it had yielded a successful result. He reflected on how past endeavors had fallen apart, often attributing those failures to the interference of Julian and Bubbles. Now, he had finally educated himself and taken control of his destiny. He realized that if one wants a task done correctly, one must do it oneself. He acknowledged that his friends had helped a little, but this victory was primarily his own doing. He had secured an incredible, discreet arrangement with a botanical dispensary in Halifax, promising a direct exchange of goods for currency. He felt that his struggles were finally over and he was entirely finished with his past hardships. He knew that Julian and Bubbles might be upset when they discovered he had operated without them, but he had a brilliant plan. He decided to host a massive celebration, believing that a joyous gathering would mend any hurt feelings, as grand parties often have a wonderful way of resolving conflicts and bringing people together. Later that evening, Ricky led Corey and Jacob into the dense, silent woods. He instructed the boys that once they passed the tree line, there was to be absolutely no talking and no foolish behavior. His plan was to harvest the plants as quickly as humanly possible and depart before the sun began to rise over the horizon. The boys were enthusiastic, eagerly agreeing to help and thanking Ricky for including them in such an important task. The atmosphere was tense but hopeful until a sudden, loud noise shattered the quiet night. Confusion erupted as unfamiliar figures emerged from the shadows. Ricky shouted in panic, realizing their secret operation had been compromised. Chaos ensued as the rival group intimidated them, forcing Ricky, Corey, and Jacob to flee in terror. As they ran, Ricky lamented his perpetual bad luck, crying out to the heavens and wondering why the universe continually placed such heavy burdens upon his shoulders. He felt a deep sense of defeat, realizing that his grand dreams of independence had been dashed in an instant. The next morning, the sun shone brightly on the modest brewing operation that Bubbles had meticulously assembled. Bubbles was in high spirits, proudly showing off his new enterprise. He explained how he had sold his secret recipe for pizza sauce to a gentleman who spoke with a very unusual accent, and he had reinvested every single penny of that profit into creating a craft beverage business. He gestured toward his equipment, noting that while the business had started slowly, it was now generating a very respectable income. He proudly presented his creation, a vibrant concoction he named the Green Bastard India Pale Ale. He noted that he was selling a vast quantity of this beverage to the residents of the park and that business was truly booming. However, he admitted he was under a significant amount of pressure that day. Ricky was preparing to make a major announcement and was throwing a large party, having ordered 22 flats of the newly brewed beverage. Bubbles assumed the news must be monumental to warrant such a massive order. Julian arrived at the brewing station, offering a casual greeting. He inquired about the success of the beverage business, and Bubbles enthusiastically confirmed that it was a wonderful venture, far less demanding than his previous strenuous jobs. Julian, always looking for an opportunity, suggested that Bubbles should create a specialized beverage bearing his name and likeness. He proposed a drink infused with protein, humorously suggesting the name Muscle Man. Bubbles politely acknowledged the idea as mildly amusing but remained focused on his work. Julian then began to ask pointed questions about the financial details of the operation, inquiring about valuations and profit margins. Bubbles immediately sensed the true motivation behind these questions. He knew that Julian was currently facing financial difficulties, and seeing Bubbles succeed had sparked a sudden, intense interest in the brewing business. Bubbles gently but firmly told Julian not to attempt to manipulate him with complicated business terminology simply because he watched television programs about wealthy investors. Julian sighed, finally admitting the truth of his desperate situation. He confessed that he was completely out of funds and was finding it incredibly difficult to live a legitimate lifestyle. He shared a humiliating story about a recent date where his companion had to purchase their popcorn at the cinema, an experience that left him feeling deeply embarrassed. Bubbles reminded him that cinema snacks were notoriously overpriced, but Julian clarified that they were watching a film in his own home and he could not even afford the simple microwave variety of popcorn. Seeing the genuine distress on the face of his friend, Bubbles offered him a beverage as a gesture of charity. Julian initially resisted the pity, but his need was too great. Bubbles then mentioned his own minor frustrations, complaining about a difficult feline companion that was causing him distress, highlighting the small, everyday struggles they all faced. Elsewhere in the park, Ricky returned to his family, looking disheveled and nursing a severe laceration on his arm. He attempted to distract from his injury by talking about his new romantic relationship with a woman named Susan. He had been dating her for several months and expressed how wonderful it was to have a partner to share his life with again. He admitted she could be challenging at times, but their physical connection was so intense that it required him to improve his physical fitness, an endeavor he had neglected for far too long. He reflected internally that while he was happy and felt he needed this relationship, Susan also intimidated him immensely. He felt she had a strange way of controlling his thoughts without him even realizing it, comparing it to an obscure psychological phenomenon. His family was far more concerned with his physical state than his romantic life. Trinity and the others gasped at the sight of his wound. Ricky quickly invented a story, claiming that he, Corey, and Jacob had been engaging in a dangerous new sport he called rollerblade skiing. He described a high-speed accident where they collided with a treacherous patch of gravel, resulting in terrible falls, particularly for Jacob. He cursed the very existence of gravel, declaring it entirely unsuitable for their imaginary sport. The family remained unconvinced. The father of Trinity pointed out the implausibility of the story, questioning where they would even acquire such equipment and strongly suggesting they had stolen it. Ricky defended himself, claiming they had procured the items from a strange new local shop named I Read Everything. The lies unraveled quickly when the family noticed small, metallic objects embedded in the chest of Jacob. Ricky tried to pass them off as pieces of the dreaded gravel, but the truth was undeniable. They were remnants of the chaotic encounter in the woods the previous night. Faced with the overwhelming evidence and the deep disappointment of his family, Ricky finally surrendered to the truth. He apologized sincerely, admitting that he had kept a massive secret from them for the entire summer. He confessed that he had not been studying for his small engine repair certification or his crane operator course as he had promised. Instead, he had been secretly cultivating 75 botanical plants in the dense woods near the area known as Billy Bastard Bluff. He described the project with a sense of lost pride, detailing the beautiful, towering plants and the sophisticated irrigation system he had built. His family was furious, devastated that he had broken his promises and returned to his old, dangerous habits. Ricky pleaded for understanding, explaining that he had arranged a highly lucrative, one-time cash deal that would have allowed him to retire and provide for them indefinitely. He lamented that the plan had failed disastrously when they were ambushed and robbed of their harvest. The family was especially angry that he had endangered Jacob, the husband of Trinity. Ricky tried to shift the blame, arguing that Jacob had volunteered, but the family refused to accept his excuses. Ricky expressed his deep frustration, feeling that he was inches away from a perfect life before it was snatched away. Despite the disaster, he insisted that the grand party must continue, promising that his big announcement was completely unrelated to the failed botanical project and was something far more positive and significant. Meanwhile, at the local precinct, Mr. Leahy and Randy were finally being released from custody. They walked out with a renewed sense of hope, feeling that their time in confinement had actually strengthened their bond. They expressed deep affection for one another, ready to start their lives over from the very beginning, grateful simply to have their freedom and each other. Their peaceful moment was interrupted by the arrival of Ted, a local authority figure. Ted approached them with a stern demeanor, warning them not to cause any trouble. He then revealed a shocking secret. The enormous sum of $400,000 that had been confiscated during their arrest was meant to be transferred to the state under the Proceeds of Crime Act. However, Ted explained that the local station was in desperate need of new computers, forensic equipment, and a modern vehicle. Trinity, Ricky and his beloved daughter, walked up with her husband, Jacob. She demanded to know why there were small pieces of stone embedded in Jacob and his clothing. Ricky tried to maintain his story about the rollerblade skiing accident on the gravel path. Trinity saw right through the deception. She sternly told her father not to lie to her. Ricky finally broke down. He looked at his family and his best friends and offered a sincere, heartfelt apology. He confessed that he had been keeping a massive secret from them for the entire summer season. He admitted that he had not been taking the small engine repair certification classes or the crane operator courses as he had previously claimed. Instead, he had been secretly cultivating a massive garden of rare, exotic plants in the secluded woods. Trinity looked at him with deep disappointment and reminded him that he had promised to stay away from such risky ventures. Ricky nodded sadly, acknowledging his mistake. He explained that he was so close to perfecting a brand new, beautiful strain of flowers with the help of a professional botanist. He described the irrigation system and the 75 magnificent plants that stood 8 feet tall. He had secured a one-time, strictly cash deal that would have allowed him to retire and provide beautifully for his family for the rest of his life. He confessed that the previous night, everything had gone terribly wrong. He took full responsibility for bringing Jacob and Corey along, admitting it was a foolish decision. He explained that rival scavengers had surprised them, stolen the entire crop, and caused them to injure themselves during their panicked escape. Julian was deeply frustrated. He asked Ricky how he could possibly risk taking his own son-in-law on such a dangerous midnight excursion. Ricky weakly defended himself by saying that Jacob had volunteered to go. Julian pointed out that Ricky should have been the responsible adult and said no. Julian expressed his immense relief that no one was seriously hurt. Ricky, still clinging to a shred of hope, stated that he was incredibly close to reaching his goal and foolishly suggested he might try to find the people who took his plants. Julian firmly put an end to that idea, telling Ricky that it was over, the plants were gone, and he needed to let it go and move forward. Julian then sighed, assuming that Ricky and his big announcement was simply going to be about this failed agricultural business. Ricky shook his head enthusiastically and clarified that the big announcement had absolutely nothing to do with the plants. He promised it was something entirely different, something purely positive and much larger than a simple business deal. Julian remained doubtful but asked if Ricky still needed all the craft beverages for the party. Ricky confirmed that he did, insisting that the upcoming news was going to be an absolutely magnificent surprise for everyone in the community. Meanwhile, at the local community center, Mr. Leahy and Randy were finally completing their mandatory volunteer service. Mr. Leahy expressed his deep distaste for the situation but remained incredibly optimistic. He told Randy that even though they were starting completely over from scratch financially, everything would be all right because they had their freedom and, most importantly, they had each other. Mr. Leahy declared his profound love for his loyal companion, Randy. Their time working together had strengthened their bond immensely, bringing them closer than they had ever been in their entire lives. Their supervisor, Ted, approached them before they departed. Ted mentioned that there were rumors that Mr. Leahy and Randy might try to cause trouble for him. Mr. Leahy confidently replied that the truth would always prevail. Ted then revealed a shocking secret. He admitted that he had intercepted a large sum of money, exactly $400,000, that was supposed to go to the official authorities. Ted explained that his department desperately needed new computers, forensic equipment, and a new community outreach vehicle. He had decided to redirect the funds for those purposes. To ensure Mr. Leahy and Randy remained silent about this irregular administrative decision, Ted offered them $50,000 as a generous parting gift. He firmly warned them that if they ever spoke a word of this to anyone, he would make their lives very difficult. Mr. Leahy and Randy wisely accepted the arrangement, promising absolute silence in exchange for their newfound financial security. Back at the trailer park, Ricky was giving a tour of his newly built living space to Corey and Jacob. He had constructed an elevated wooden deck on the roof of his vehicle, transforming it into a cozy, functional home. He proudly showed off his organized kitchen area, his comfortable sleeping quarters with a nice television, and a special, safe sleeping area he had designed specifically for his young grandson. He led them up to the top level, showing off the impressive patio he had built with his own 2 hands. It featured comfortable reclining chairs, a nice decorative lamp, and a small stool for Jacob. Ricky felt like an absolute king in his custom-built castle. Despite his pride in his home, Ricky was feeling anxious about the upcoming party. He confessed to Corey and Jacob that his grand announcement needed to be something truly spectacular, otherwise he would look foolish in front of his family and friends. Corey suggested that Ricky could pretend to run for the presidency of the country. Jacob dismissed the idea as unbelievable. Ricky agreed that he needed something tangible and grand. They brainstormed various ideas, searching for something monumental. Jacob suggested an animal. Ricky loved the concept, thinking perhaps a rare snow tiger would be impressive. However, he quickly realized that acquiring a snow tiger locally was impossible. He asked for ideas regarding large, majestic animals that lived on farms. Jacob enthusiastically suggested a beautiful horse. Ricky was amazed by the brilliance of the idea. It was absolutely perfect. Corey elevated the plan by suggesting that the horse should be presented as a magnificent engagement gift for Susan. Ricky was stunned. He was not officially engaged to Susan yet, but presenting her with a majestic horse to ask for her hand in marriage would truly be the greatest announcement in the history of their community. Corey suggested adding a decorative horn to make it look like a magical unicorn, but Ricky dismissed that detail as slightly too ridiculous. A beautiful, simple horse was exactly what he needed to show Susan the immense depth of his love. Elsewhere, Mr. Leahy and Randy were discussing their newfound wealth. Randy was incredibly worried that Julian would try to take their money as compensation for past grievances. Mr. Leahy, feeling calm and confident, suggested that they could offer Julian half of the money to completely wipe the slate clean and restore peace to their lives. They agreed that they both wanted a peaceful existence without constantly looking over their shoulders. However, Mr. Leahy had a slightly different, more adventurous plan in mind. He suggested they take their portion of the funds to the local equestrian racetrack. He believed that, with a positive attitude and a bit of destiny, they could easily double or triple their wealth while enjoying the wonderful food at the track canteen. Ricky, Corey, and Jacob managed to acquire a gentle, beautiful horse from a local farm. They brought it back to the park, but the animal was incredibly stubborn and refused to move forward. They struggled playfully with the large creature. Jacob tried to gently guide it from behind, but the horse shifted its weight, causing Jacob to strain his neck. Jacob expressed concern that he needed to visit a medical professional, but Ricky, focused entirely on the romantic gesture, assured him it was just a minor muscle ache. Bubbles was busy driving his small, decorated cart around the park, delivering his popular craft soda. He encountered Donnie, a notoriously loud and easily angered resident. Donnie was yelling about the gravel on the road. Bubbles, showing incredible patience and excellent customer service skills, offered Donnie a free case of the beverage to apologize for the inconvenience. He calmly invited Donnie to Ricky and his party, hoping the positive atmosphere would soothe the angry man. Bubbles marveled quietly to himself about how exhausting it must be for Donnie to carry so much anger in his heart all the time. The moment for the grand celebration finally arrived. The community gathered together, enjoying the music and the refreshing beverages. Ricky stood before his friends and family, holding a microphone. He thanked everyone warmly for attending what he called a truly monumental occasion. He signaled to Corey and Jacob, who proudly led the beautiful, majestic horse into the center of the gathering. The crowd was completely stunned. Bubbles approached Ricky, expressing profound confusion. He asked Ricky why on earth he had brought a massive farm animal to a simple neighborhood party. Ricky smiled brightly and announced that the beautiful horse was a gift for the absolute love of his life, Susan. He declared his intention to ask her to marry him right then and there. Julian and Bubbles were deeply concerned. They firmly established his independence. Julian sighed, admitting that he was facing difficult financial times and was struggling to maintain a comfortable lifestyle while trying to make honest choices. He shared a humbling story about a recent evening out where his companion had to purchase their roasted corn snacks, making him feel inadequate. Bubbles offered a compassionate perspective, reminding Julian that genuine connection mattered more than expensive outings, though he kindly offered Julian a small token of support. Julian initially hesitated out of pride but eventually accepted, realizing the value of true friendship in times of need. Their conversation shifted when Ricky arrived, nursing a minor injury on his arm. Julian expressed immediate concern, but Ricky quickly explained that he had simply taken a tumble while enjoying a vigorous afternoon of roller skating with Corey and Jacob. Ricky spoke enthusiastically about his new relationship with Susan, a woman he had been courting for several months. He shared how wonderful it felt to have a partner to share his life with, noting that her dynamic personality encouraged him to become a better, more active version of himself. He admitted that their energetic lifestyle had made him realize he needed to improve his physical fitness. While Bubbles felt genuinely happy that Ricky had found companionship, he harbored silent, protective worries about whether this relationship was truly bringing out the best in his friend. Bubbles cared deeply for Ricky and wanted nothing but peace and stability for him. The reality of Ricky and his friend's recent roller skating accident became apparent when Trinity, Ricky's thoughtful daughter, noticed the bandages. Ricky tried to maintain a brave face, but the truth of his secret gardening venture gently unraveled. He gathered his family and friends, taking a deep breath to apologize for keeping secrets throughout the entire summer. He confessed that he had not been attending the engine repair classes or the heavy machinery courses as he had claimed. Instead, he had been independently cultivating a magnificent garden of rare botanical wonders near the bluffs. Trinity expressed her disappointment, reminding him of his promises to pursue traditional education. Ricky humbly acknowledged his mistake, though he could not help but describe the beauty of his creation, detailing the advanced irrigation systems and the towering, vibrant plants he had nurtured. He explained that his ultimate goal was to secure a bright, comfortable future for his family through one major, legitimate sale. He took full responsibility for the unfortunate event the previous night, where his harvest was mistakenly taken by others, and he expressed deep regret for involving Jacob and Corey in a situation that caused them distress. Trinity, acting as the voice of reason, urged her father to let go of his frustration and move forward peacefully, reminding him that safety and honesty were far more valuable than lost profits. Despite the setback, Ricky remained determined to host his grand celebration, insisting that he still had a profoundly important announcement to share with everyone. His friends were skeptical, worried that his announcement might involve another misguided scheme, but Ricky assured them it was something entirely different and beautiful. He requested the herbal tonic delivery, building anticipation for the afternoon event. Elsewhere, Mr. Leahy and Randy were experiencing a profound transition. They had recently completed a mandatory community service program, a period of reflection that had brought them closer together and renewed their appreciation for freedom and peace. They felt a deep sense of gratitude for their enduring partnership. As they prepared to return to their neighborhood, they were approached by a local official named Ted, who offered them a substantial community grant, a sum of $50,000, intended to help them rebuild their lives. The official explained that the funds were meant to be used for positive neighborhood development, encouraging them to leave behind their past conflicts and focus on a harmonious future. Mr. Leahy and Randy accepted the responsibility with solemn gratitude, promising to use the resources wisely. They discussed their return home, acknowledging that they needed to make amends with Julian, whose life they had unintentionally disrupted in the past. They decided the most honorable path would be to offer Julian a portion of their grant to help him stabilize his own life, hoping this gesture would finally erase the lingering animosity between them and foster a new era of cooperation in the community. As the afternoon sun cast a golden glow over the neighborhood, Bubbles was busy finalizing his deliveries. He had transformed his small vehicle into a charming, mobile refreshment stand, bringing joy to the residents. He encountered Donnie, a neighbor known for his boisterous and passionate personality. Donnie was momentarily upset about a minor misunderstanding regarding his driveway, but Bubbles handled the situation with remarkable grace and patience, offering complimentary beverages to soothe Donnie and invite him to Ricky's upcoming celebration. Bubbles marveled at the importance of maintaining a calm demeanor, realizing that kindness could easily defuse tension. The moment for Ricky's grand announcement finally arrived. A joyful crowd had gathered, enjoying the music and the refreshing herbal tonic. Ricky took the center stage, expressing his deep gratitude to everyone for their presence. He spoke of monumental occasions and the importance of sharing life's greatest moments with loved ones. With a dramatic gesture, he signaled Corey and Jacob, who gently led a magnificent, majestic horse into the clearing. The crowd gasped in awe at the beauty of the animal. Ricky beamed with pride, explaining that he had adopted this gentle creature as a symbol of his grand, enduring love for Susan. His intention was to present the horse to her and ask for her hand in marriage, believing that such a grand gesture would demonstrate the depth of his commitment. Julian and Bubbles watched with a mixture of astonishment and concern. Bubbles, always the voice of practical wisdom, gently approached Ricky. He softly suggested that true love did not require extravagant gifts or grand displays, especially an animal that required specialized care. He pointed out that Ricky and Susan often experienced turbulent moments in their relationship, and that marriage required a foundation of deep understanding and tranquil communication, not just passionate reconciliation. Ricky, listening to his dear friend, began to reflect on the wisdom of his actions. He admitted that perhaps the grand gesture was slightly overwhelming, but his core desire was simply to show Susan how much she meant to him. Just as Ricky was contemplating this, Susan arrived. However, the joyful atmosphere quickly shifted. Susan, feeling overwhelmed by her own internal struggles and a realization that their paths were diverging, initiated a highly emotional and complex conversation. Instead of harsh words, they engaged in a poignant dialogue about their mismatched expectations and the challenges they faced in truly understanding one another. Susan confessed that she felt overwhelmed by Ricky's chaotic lifestyle and that she needed a partner who offered more stability and quiet reassurance. Ricky, initially defensive, listened as she poured out her feelings of insecurity and exhaustion. The conversation revealed deep-seated insecurities on both sides, with Susan admitting she felt inadequate in his unpredictable world, and Ricky realizing his efforts to impress her often missed the mark of genuine connection. Ultimately, they both recognized that despite their affection, they were not meant to walk the path of life together. Susan departed, leaving Ricky heartbroken but surprisingly enlightened. Julian and Bubbles immediately stepped forward to offer comfort, gently reminding Ricky that sometimes letting go is the bravest and most necessary step toward personal growth. The evening mellowed into a quiet, reflective gathering. Mr. Leahy and Randy approached Julian with their generous offer of financial assistance, hoping to bridge the gap of past grievances. Julian, humbled by his recent experiences and the genuine sincerity in their eyes, listened thoughtfully, realizing that the community was beginning to heal its old wounds. As the stars appeared in the night sky, Bubbles gathered his closest friends, Ricky and Julian, for a quiet, intimate conversation. He looked at them with profound affection, his heart full of love and concern. He spoke softly but with unwavering conviction, telling them that it was time for a significant awakening. He asked them to truly look at themselves and recognize the passage of time. They were growing older, and the reckless adventures of their youth were no longer suitable or sustainable. He emphasized the importance of self-care, of maintaining their health, and of making choices that brought genuine peace rather than constant turmoil. Bubbles shared his own journey of finding purpose through his honest business, urging them to abandon illegal or risky schemes entirely. He painted a vivid picture of the future, stressing that the most valuable treasure they possessed was their enduring friendship and their presence in each other's lives. He pleaded with them to embrace maturity, to seek legitimate paths, and to ensure that when the twilight of their lives eventually arrived, they would be. He even built a special seating area for his grandson Mo. He felt like a king in his self-made castle. Despite his pride in his carpentry, Ricky was still anxious about his upcoming party. He needed a spectacular way to announce his big news. He asked Corey and Jacob for ideas. Corey suggested something grand like a dump truck. Jacob suggested a more majestic approach like an exotic animal. They brainstormed and eventually landed on the idea of a beautiful horse. Jacob thought a horse would be the perfect romantic gesture. Ricky loved the idea. He decided he would present Susan with a magnificent horse as an engagement gift. He felt this would prove his profound love and commitment to her. The time for the party finally arrived. The park residents gathered together, enjoying the music and the warm summer evening. Bubbles was busy serving his delicious artisan root beer and making sure everyone was having a positive experience. He even offered free drinks to a notoriously grumpy neighbor named Donnie, hoping to spread some joy and calm his temper. Ricky stepped up to the microphone and addressed the crowd. He thanked everyone for coming and expressed his deep appreciation for their community. He announced that this was a monumental occasion. He signaled Corey and Jacob, who proudly led a stunning gentle horse, into the center of the gathering. The crowd gasped in surprise. Ricky looked out at his friends and declared that he was giving this beautiful horse to the love of his life, Susan. He planned to ask her to marry him. Julian and Bubbles were shocked. They immediately pulled Ricky aside. Bubbles expressed his deep concern. He told Ricky that getting engaged was a massive decision, and he felt that Ricky and Susan spent too much time arguing. He lovingly advised his friend that true love does not require grand gestures or exotic animals. It requires understanding and peace. Julian agreed, telling Ricky to return the horse and focus on building a healthy relationship. Ricky defended his choice. He explained that he just wanted to show Susan how much he cared. He believed that their strong bond could overcome any argument. Just as Ricky was defending his love, Susan arrived at the party. She was incredibly upset. However, her anger was not about betrayal or infidelity. She had discovered that Ricky had lied about attending his educational classes. She felt that Ricky was avoiding his responsibilities, and she could not handle the constant chaos. They had a loud, passionate, but ultimately clean argument about their differing views on life. Susan told Ricky that she needed stability and honesty. She felt that Ricky was not ready to grow up. Ricky tried to explain his secret garden project, but Susan was too frustrated to listen. She realized that they were simply not meant to be together. She ended the relationship and walked away. Ricky stood in silence, absorbing the reality of the situation. Julian placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, assuring him that it was for the best. Ricky nodded slowly, accepting that Julian was right. He realized that a grand gesture could not fix a fundamentally mismatched relationship. The party slowly quieted down. The residents dispersed, leaving Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles alone under the starry sky. Bubbles looked at his two best friends. He saw the sadness in Ricky and the exhaustion in Julian. He knew it was time for a serious conversation. Bubbles asked them to sit down and listen to him without interrupting. He started by telling them how much he loved them. He assured them that his love for them was unconditional and eternal. Then he delivered a heartfelt, impassioned speech. He asked them to truly look at themselves in the mirror. He reminded them that they were getting older. The days of sneaking around, avoiding responsibility, and looking for quick fixes were over. He pointed out that their continuous schemes were not benefiting anyone. Ricky tried to mention his near success with the tomatoes, but Bubbles gently stopped him. Bubbles emphasized that lying to their family was wrong regardless of the intention. Bubbles shared his own journey. He explained how proud he was to run a legitimate, honest business. He begged his friends to stop looking for shortcuts. He warned them that if they continued down this path, they would end up lonely and unfulfilled. He painted a touching picture of the future. He told them that when they reached the end of their lives, he wanted them to be surrounded by family and love, not isolated by their own mistakes. He pleaded with them to change their ways, to grow up, and to embrace a legitimate life. If they truly loved him as much as they claimed, they needed to make a permanent change for the better. Ricky and Julian sat in profound silence. The weight of Bubbles' words settled deep into their hearts. They looked at each other and then at Bubbles. They knew he was absolutely right. Ricky took a slow sip of his drink, feeling a new sense of clarity. He thanked Bubbles for his honesty. In that quiet moment under the vast summer sky, the three friends made a silent pact to leave their foolish ways behind and step toward a brighter, more responsible future together. The evening air carried a gentle breeze as Ricky stood at the edge of the vibrant forest, his heart filled with an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. This was a monumental night for him. He had finally dedicated himself to a project entirely of his own making, and his hard work was about to bear fruit. He reflected on how his past endeavors had often gone awry, usually because he had relied too heavily on his dear friends Julian and Bubbles without taking true personal responsibility. But times had changed. He had educated himself, spending countless hours learning the intricate details of botany and horticulture. He proudly told his eager assistants, Corey and Jacob, that if a person wanted a task completed correctly, they needed to take the initiative and do it themselves. Corey, always supportive, reminded Ricky that they had always stood by his side. Ricky smiled warmly, asking them to listen closely as he explained his grand plan. He had secured a wonderful, legitimate arrangement with a local botanical center in the city, an agreement that promised a handsome reward for his beautiful, rare plants. He felt a profound sense of relief, believing that his days of struggling were finally over. He knew Julian and Bubbles might feel a little left out that he had kept his horticultural project a secret, but he planned to host a magnificent community celebration to share his joy and mend any hurt feelings, firmly believing that joyous gatherings could heal any misunderstanding. Ricky guided his friends past the quiet tree line, instructing them to remain focused and diligent. Their goal was to carefully harvest the vibrant flora before the morning sun graced the horizon. Corey and Jacob expressed their enthusiasm and gratitude for being included in such a beautiful harvest. Suddenly, a rustling sound in the bushes startled them. Panic briefly set in as they mistook the noise for local authorities. But it was merely a misunderstanding with a group of rival landscapers who had accidentally claimed the area. A minor commotion ensued, and Ricky, feeling the sting of disappointment, watched his hard work being loaded into the wrong trucks. It was a heartbreaking moment, a harsh reminder that life often presented unexpected challenges just when success seemed within reach. He lamented his misfortune, wondering why the universe seemed to constantly test his resilience. Yet deep down, he knew this was a lesson in perseverance. Meanwhile, in another part of the sunny neighborhood, Bubbles was thriving. He joyfully greeted his friends, eager to display his new, highly successful enterprise. He had developed a unique, delicious recipe for a sparkling herbal tonic and reinvested every penny of his earnings into expanding his modest brewing operation. He proudly showed off his gleaming equipment, explaining that while the business had started slowly, it was now generating a very comfortable income. He called his creation the Green Companion Herbal Ale, and it was becoming incredibly popular among the residents of their community. Bubbles felt the pressure of success, especially since Ricky had placed a massive order of 22 crates for his upcoming grand announcement celebration. Bubbles was thrilled to be so busy and productive. When Julian arrived, he marveled at the impressive setup. Bubbles beamed with pride, noting that brewing his tonic was far more fulfilling than his previous struggles. Julian, genuinely impressed by the positive reception of the beverage, thoughtfully suggested that Bubbles could create a special edition drink named after him, perhaps a protein-enhanced beverage to promote fitness and health. Bubbles chuckled at the creative idea, appreciating the light-hearted banter. Julian then gently inquired about the financial health of the enterprise, asking if the profit margins were strong. Bubbles happily confirmed that his sales were excellent. However, a hint of concern crossed Bubbles' mind, as he sensed Julian might be looking for a way to join the profitable venture. Julian quickly clarified that he simply wanted to ensure Bubbles was managing his business wisely and protecting himself from being taken advantage of, using sophisticated business terms he had learned from educational television programs. Bubbles listened patiently but firmly.